And all systems are go. You should be able to hear the music in the background. That should be an indication that things are working. Metroid Prime. Oh, let's look at the demo. Actually, let's not. Let's not look at the demo because you can't skip the cutscenes in this game. So I barely want to watch them the first time because they do not matter. Okay. I'm gonna start a brand new game. Oh, I guess I don't have to. Yeah, I can just start the same game. It should start me from the beginning. Love that title screen theme though. Fantastic. I wonder that's got to be a theremin. That lead synth, just your standard old school theremin. 1950 sci-fi. Oh, really? One of your favorites, huh? Unfortunately, I cannot share that sentiment, but I'll try and do the game justice, just for you. The J in JJ stands for just for you. The other J stands for barbecue. You might be wondering, well, wouldn't that be the B? No, you would be wrong. I haven't had breakfast. Very hungry. Oh, I can skip that. Wait, no, I can't skip anything. No. I'm sure when the game first came out and Metroid fans saw this, wait, what happened? Did I skip it? How did I do that? Oh, no! What the hell happened? Did this crash? Did the emulator crash? No. It should be fine. There we go. Okay. Alright, so I discovered the controls to reset the game somehow. I don't know what I did. Can't skip the cutscenes, but you can reset the game and go back to the title screen. At least something crashed and the publisher's logo didn't show up. Hey, Matt's here. And Bond's here too. Mr. Swastika himself. A friend of mine was like, why is there somebody with a swastika in his name here? And I was like, no, it's cool. Everybody calm down. It's the good kind of swastika. We're okay. I appreciated the reference. I thought it was cool. That's why I don't have it on Twitter. Yeah, it was like that scene in Jurassic Park World when Chris Pratt, he's the meme where he's trying to hold back the raptors. Everybody calm down. And I got my little clicky thing. There are revised mouse and keyboard controls? What? I don't have that. Is that a thing? How do you set that up? I'm not gonna play this game enough to see that. I just gotta deal with the controls. Yep, that's Samus. There she is. Suit's looking good. I mean, the graphics, I think they still hold up. It looks fantastic. But you can't shoot with the trigger. I would love to use oh, you got to use a custom version of the emulator. I'm probably not going to do that. That's just too much trouble. Took enough effort just to get the game, to go on the internet and steal it off the web. That took just way too much time. I've seen busier. It's a Japanese game, so like there's a lot of Final Fantasy games out there that get way busier than that. Like this game gets busy in a Burger King bathroom. Come on, come on. I didn't invert the controls. Let me do that right now. According to Japan, actually this was developed by an American studio, so, or British as I understand. So to them reversed means point up to actually look up. They want you to do like flight controls. But one thing that I can say about this game that's kind of frustrating is the fact that, you know, Halo existed and established console shooter controls, which the GameCube could have emulated. And they were like, you know what we're gonna do? Tank controls. And I don't mind tank controls. I've never had a problem with tank controls in my life. But for a shooter, for a first-person shooter, you don't want to do that. No, not GameCube it, Dolphin it. I'm the Dolph Lundgren it. My instincts just really want me to shoot with the trigger, but you got to use the face buttons. It's crazy, right? When did this come out? 2003, I want to say. 2004, possibly. Somebody fact check me on that. Definitely wasn't 2000. Could have been as early as 2002, honestly. Never give away your real age on the internet. You don't know who's on there. Give me the map. Could you imagine actually using the trigger of the controller to shoot a gun? Well, technically it's not a gun, right? It's an arm cannon, so in that aspect I can see maybe what they were going for. Well, it's not a gun. You're not shooting a gun. You're actually... Maybe she's using her thumb inside the arm cannon to pull the trigger, right? Oh, that's pretty. That's pretty full. Like, look at that texture. It's a great texture. What is that? Is that Talon 4? That's cool. That's not vague, Matt. That's vague is a range. Like, I am between 6,000 to 8,000 years old. Like that's vague. 3 or 4 is you could just take the average and say 3.5. But I don't know. Somebody look it up. When did the game actually come out? Anybody? 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 Nobody? Okay. Alright, well, thanks anyway. Yeah, I'm sure the Wii version did, but... Oh, maybe I should switch to the Wii version. I wonder if there's any enhancements. I should switch to that. Because the Dolphin emulator also does Wii, like, just fine. I'm definitely not using a Wiimote. That's a fact. 2002, wow, yeah. So, that was, what is that? That's just 1 year after Halo? Halo was November 2001. Can't wait to fight that thing later. What kind of files are you talking about? Let me tell you why you're wrong, Matt. The original Halo was, don't even get me started. I'm gonna go on a rant. It's not gonna be pretty. I like that you can just execute people. You know? Just do them gangster. Ruin their lives. They're on the ground bleeding out, and you come up, and you blast them. Fantastic. Blew that guy up with a missile. Now he's dead. It's fantastic. In due time, Matthew. In due time. I'm trying to power through this just to get to the spots where the gameplay elements I need for the video are perfectly encapsulated. What's the term? Somebody find me a good synonym for the word I'm looking for. Project Deluge. What is that? I gotta scan this. I gotta scan everything. Project Deluge. Exhibited? That's not bad. I like that. That's pretty good. Let's go with that. Uh-oh. Get out, get out, get out, get out. No, let me out. Let me out. It looks like something that you'd want to morph ball into. Sound design's pretty good. Yeah, it's not bad. Not bad. Dang, so should I play the Wii version? Because I can actually shoot with the triggers instead of this weird face button stuff? What is that? Oh, it's too late. I missed my my pickups. That's all right. I didn't need anything anyway. Because I'm not having a terrible time. How do I get through this? Scan some stuff. Insert metallic sphere. That's what she said. Does the Wii version let you play with a Pro controller? And did they update it to a 16:9 aspect ratio? I'm out of here. Alright, well then maybe I'll have to end the stream and find the Wii version. Whoa. Those shields are nuts. And the enemy. Alright. Come on. There we go. to scan it to find out that I had to shoot it in the mouth. That's kind of dumb. You gotta admit, that's really stupid. That's some 2000s era game design. It's just like, well, where else are you gonna shoot it? It's got a giant mouth. That's just instincts will tell you that.
Evacuate immediately. Evacuate immediately.
Oh, now we're talking.
Evacuate immediately.
Now we're really playing Metroid. No sprint button. That's fine. Wiimote and nunchuck, then I am out. No thanks. What are you guys doing? Oh, wow. That was cool. Wanted to roll up the hill. Space pirate scum. I wish Samus had like quippy one-liners, like Duke Nukem. Ah, Brody. It's like the sea lice in MGS2. No, I did not know that, Cyber. Who would know that? I guess maybe I did know. Do you get a flamethrower in this game? I think you do. Or was that the sequel? One of these games gives you a flamethrower. You know what? I'm out of here. You can't fog up my visor if there's no visor to fog up, right? Get me out of here. Friggin' bugs. What are you gonna do? Nothing, because there's no visor. Oh, I have bombs. I forgot. I have bombs. Let's see if I can do a loop. Yeah. Nah, nothing. What the hell was that? I blew up the door by transforming? That's kind of cool. Take that. Did they use Grody and Bully? Good for them. No missiles. The Morph Ball stuff is cool. Like, if the game was just that, I wouldn't hate it. You know, just Marble Madness, but in the Metroid universe, they could totally pull that off. No problem. Yeah, those are some nasty bugs. Why would she talk? She does talk throughout the game. What? Maybe not in the first Metroid, but they weren't keeping it a secret after that. What the hell? Ooh, pinball. Let's go. Come on, pinball. Let's go. Yeah. That was kind of lackluster. Buenos Aires, and I say kill them all. Yeah, it was up until Super Metroid. If you hadn't finished the original Metroid, or Metroid 2, you didn't know. So by Super Metroid, Ridley, there he is. There's our boy. Oh, he's got some cyber enhancements, too. Look at him. Dang it! I mean, she's voiced by Jennifer Hale in this game. Okay, I gotta jump, I guess? Or do I let go? That's a terrible grappling hook system. Let me try and figure that out. Why is that so difficult? Okay, I was using logic. That was my mistake. I was using common sense to try and navigate, and you can't do that when you play a Japanese first-person shooter. And by that I mean a first-person shooter designed for Japanese audiences. Like, Project Breakdown on the Xbox. You know what's funny? I read the manual for the original Metroid for in preparation for the video to see if there was any sort of, just to see what information it gave you. Wow, they stripped me of my Varia suit. Can I reload a checkpoint? That's cool. See, so it was this game that did the thing where you start off super powerful and then they take everything away. Fusion didn't do that. Wow, I don't have my charge beam anymore. I can't even morph ball. Man, they really just... I'm gonna have to steal that footage from somebody else's game. Nothing I can do. Dude, look at my suit. They took everything from me before I was even born. Anyway, so in the manual for the original Metroid, they specifically call Samus a he. He uses he, him pronouns throughout the manual at least 27 times. So they were actively trying to pull one over on people. But by Super Metroid, anytime you die, you see Samus in the bikini, so it was pretty well known by that point. Even back in 94, the rumor mill made it so that, like, you're not keeping that secret. You might have read about it in a magazine, you might have heard it through word of mouth, and somebody didn't believe you. Yeah, I beat the game. Samus? She's a chick. And then you'd be like, nuh-uh. You liar, shut the hell up. And then later you'd find out, like, what? I guess that's cool. Then you find out she's 6'7". You're like, oh, hell yeah. It's called cutting weight. What game was it where they revealed the Zero suit? That being a big thing. That's a good question. I have no idea. I have no idea. You're asking the wrong guy. I did not have Zero suit relations with that Samus. At least I can still jump. Well, they didn't take my jump from me. But they did take my grappling hook, and I'm pissed off about that. But I think that's all I need. I needed one thing that displayed a grappling hook. Oh, I should play Darksiders, that's right. I don't want to play Darksiders, it's not good. It's just okay. That's the problem with Darksiders. And I'm dead. Wait, what is that? does nothing. What? I can't morph ball? That sucks. That's like, you know, starting somebody off all like with, you know, with gameplay mechanics like that and saying start back from square one. That doesn't feel good, honestly. Three of what? 3 Metroid Primes? No charge beam, so I can't even collect power-ups. What do I gotta do? I gotta scan it? Pirate data. Really? What do you want? Did I scan it good enough yet? No, I guess not. So what do you want me to do? I like the bounce. Bounce it off the, you know. Maybe you could use that in combat somehow. I don't know how. Well, I won't be playing another M. Can I shoot the grass? Yeah, you can. You can do some, oh, it grows back. I was gonna say, yeah, you can do some Legend of Zelda lawn mowing. Oh yeah, Cyber, you still here? I guess I'll go explore some more. What do your 400 souls mean? I don't know. You'll have to check the menu. Not much, I can tell you that. But keep saving. Don't give up hope. Nah, Cyber had to go. I don't blame him. Not his fault. Die, monster. You steal men's souls and make them your slaves. What is a man? See, Dracula did great in that game. Dracula, he was really giving his all. He put everything into his performance. Yeah, good luck. Good luck getting 130K. You're gonna have to tune in a hell of a lot if you want to make that happen. Really? Where do I get the item that I need to open the door? Frustrating. Frustrating game right here. Games. Frustrating. That does nothing. Active transport located. Chozo Ruins. Am I back here? They keep sending me to the same planet. Every game. Same planet. I think this is the Pokemon theme. Am I hallucinating, or is this it's the Pokemon theme, isn't it? This is Ash getting ready to do a gym battle, like, no doubt about it. That suit looks so wimpy. Just not cool at all. Even though she just lost her shoulder pads. That's it. But those shoulder pads go a long way in making her feel, you know, like Samus. It's an important aspect of her design. And you lose the shoulder pads and she's not Samus anymore. I don't even know you anymore. Clearly, you're just trying to minimize music genres because you hate people enjoying music that you don't like. Oh, man. Yes, you've stumbled across my plot to eliminate the entire institution of gaming. All of it. You found it. My plans to destroy all video games. I need a morph ball right here, so I guess I'll get that pretty soon. Could they make that warning any more obnoxious? I don't think they could. What is that? Oh, it's an energy tank. How do I get it? How do I get the tank? Can I get the tank with my tank controls? Buddy. Ew. Oh, look at this. Can't lock onto these guys. Morph ball has to be in here. If it's not, I'm gonna be pissed. I've been thinking about that conversation for the past several hours. Like, is it possible that you misunderstood what I said? Nope. Couldn't be. It's just not possible. There's no way that I could ever misinterpret someone's words. The only thing that makes sense is an oxymoron. Is something that's completely contradictory. The guy's channel, Twitch stream, Twitter feed, it all centers around video games, and his goal must be to eliminate all gaming. He wants to destroy video games. Like, there's no room for interpretation. That's gotta be what it is. Because I get everything right the first time. Just like, I can't make this stuff up. Jak 2. Now that's a game I want to play. I would play some Jak 2 right now. If I wasn't. I should be done with the video today, hopefully. Come on. The fact that you can't switch easily between targets, kind of annoying. But, you know, it's whatever. Okay. Alright, let me find the morph ball, and then I'm gonna bring in a special guest. If I can find the morph ball. That's a big if. I don't think I can. Gotta be, there it is, right there. Wait, no, what is that? Missile pack? I guess I gotta use the missile pack to open the red doors. I don't control the aim in this game. It's lock on only. It's Z targeting from Zelda. Am I fighting the pain? What's going on here? I am fighting the pain, kind of. This is annoying. Oh, that doesn't work. Mechanics of what? Of being annoyed? Just give me the missiles already. Very cool, very cool. Energy tank. Oh, need the morph ball. Damn it! But they tease me. They're like, you gotta come back later when you got the morph ball. You're not getting through this this here narrow shaft. That's acid. Why is it acid? Let me get a good look at the map. Wow. It's a big world. Or it will be, eventually. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Nope, can't animate. Samus, she can't crouch. Bad knees. She can only shrink down with the morph ball. That's why she has the morph ball, so that she can crouch down without hurting her knees. They did a great job of translating the 2D elements into 3D, though. That is for sure. Alright, now I have the full map. Okay, whoa. Whoa. Look at all the stuff I have to explore. Wow. Okay. There we go. Okay. This is gonna be B-roll for the vidya. Do another pass, going the other way, nice and smooth, like a steady cam operator, and then I might actually speed the footage up in post to make it look okay. Yeah, that's buttery smooth. That's nice. Alright, that'll look good. That'll look really good. Wait, did I explore everything in that room? I guess I did. Gotta go find more red doors. The platforming in first person, I could do without. I could do without that. I don't need it. Okay, I'm going the wrong way. Super Monkey Ball? Did they? That would be interesting if they took the code from Super Monkey Ball. I doubt they did because one is a Sega game and the other is not. So uh-oh. Nope, get out. Get out of there. I told you when I was gonna be streaming. I don't think I'm gonna stream that long either. I just need enough. Okay, so that's a tank up there. I gotta come back to that. Can't go through there. It's all your fault. Now you're not gonna get any points. Just give me the morph ball. This reminds me of Time Crisis 4, which was not good. Now you gotta watch on your phone. Now you gotta watch on your phone like a simpleton. Okay, see that? That's a hole in the wall. And there's the morph ball right there. Okay, cool. Oh, of course, they couldn't make it simple. I gotta work for my meal. When's the last time you heard the word simpleton? A mini boss? Weak. I don't have any missiles either. I can't fire some missiles. It's like a Triceratops rhino beetle. Come at me, bro. Quit doing your mating dance. I'm not into that. I'm Samus. You're lucky I don't have missiles right now. I would whoop your ass. Come on, you, how to train your dragon bug looking Starship Troopers knockoff wannabe. Oh, that's cheap. That's cheap. Whatever, you did now anyway. Just give me the freaking morph ball. Mr. Burns called Homer a simpleton. When have I said that I haven't seen Starship Troopers? One of the greatest movies of all time. Man, the way she jumped into that animation, like she was trying to break her own spine. She was like, ah! She got the morph ball. No bombs, though. No bombs. Alright, it's cool. I might not have seen the chat. I didn't see what you wrote. What exactly did you type? Did you say, would you like to know more? Because if so, I'd hate to burst your bubble, but everybody knows what that's from, even if they haven't seen Starship Troopers. And if it wasn't that, then I honestly have no idea. Oh, okay. Oh, right, the books. I was like, Matt, you're not from Buenos Aires, are you? Yeah. Johnny Rico. They, here we go. Tony Hawk. Tony Hawk's Pro Metroid. There's no point to this. Oh, but there's a thing up there. I gotta try and get it. This isn't working. I'm doing something wrong. I don't have enough. What's the word? Resolve. Yeah, oh, you get a booster power up? Okay, that makes sense. But I bet I can get it early, you know, because Metroid games are all about experimentation. No, I think I'll just wait and come back later. You know what I have read? Not only well, it's been a while since I've seen Starship Troopers, so over a decade. But I read the book recently, and the book is an atrocity. It's the worst. My university experience was not like that at all. So I don't know what university you attended. It sounds more like prison, honestly. But yeah, my school wasn't like that. I don't know. Not that I'm judging, it's just like, but I mean, the whole joke about, and maybe you're just making a joke, but the whole joke about like, oh, I experimented in college. That's, I never understood that. It's like either you are or you aren't. Own your shit. Yeah, right? So, I mean, again, do not divulge personal information on the internet. But you are what you are. You know, like people that say like, oh, I just experimented. I'm not gay, I just experimented. Like, no, bro, you're like, or gal. It's just, you are who you are. If you weren't into that from the beginning, you would not have experimented in the first place. You weren't experimenting, you're just like, have you seen the Ice-T clip from Special Victims Unit? Where the dude's like, where he says, some dude is like, I'm not gay. I have relationships with women and sex with men. And then Ice-T goes, and I got news for you. That means you're gay. And the dude kind of, he looks around and he's like, he's like, wow, Ice-T, you really shed some light on that situation. What? I didn't this is something I have to contemplate. Body count's okay. They're not terrible. Best thing they've done was the Rain and Blood cover, but like Ice-T really he nailed it with that. He really put his all into that Rain and Blood cover that they did. But their music as in general, I'm not really the biggest fan of. But I am a gigantic Ice-T fan, like huge fan of him just as a person. He's very he's an inspiration to me, I will say. And I got news for you. That means you're gay. And the dude's just like, huh, wow. Anyway, I'm lost. I think I have what I need. So, we got ourselves a special guest today. In fact, it's one of my patrons who's joining us here in chat. Here in chat, it's Matt. So let's see if we can get him on the line. There he is.
Hey.
All right, so I need to fiddle with my volume a little bit because the game is just a wee bit too loud.
I need to mute the stream because I can hear myself more than once, and that's really unpleasant.
Yeah, that echo will kill you. All right, give me a second. Let me configure the game.
I'm gonna shoot myself with that echo, like damn. I've just seen the big rotating skull in the background over standby image, and I'm really into that.
A lot of people say they like that. I hate it personally.
You do? I
Yeah.
think it's yeah, I like it.
Well, no, because I just scrapped it together, and I didn't really put a lot of effort into it. So I need to. Bond commented on it the last time he saw it, and he's like, "Oh, that's really cool. Did you make that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I did. Like Spider-Man, I made my own suit." But
Until he didn't MCU things.
What?
He didn't make his own suit. Like the main suit he wears in the MCU is all made by Tony Stark, isn't it?
No, yeah, the MCU Spider-Man is trash. Don't. We could talk about that if you want. Yeah. JJ says, "Are we gonna get the Halo argument? You want to talk about Halo? All right, fine.
Okay,
Let's get into Halo, Matt. Let's do it."
I'd love to. Okay, so Halo Combat Evolved, right?
Yeah.
It's a wonderful game without a doubt, and I don't deny that it is good. The sound design especially is like top tier, right?
Sure.
But the actual level design, I find, as soon as you're off the Pillar of Autumn, you've had your first mission on Halo, you have the big sniper rally onto the Covenant ship, first 3 missions, and then the mall right at the end, some of the best gameplay I've ever played in my life. But then
Yeah.
the rest of the game is just, it's a bit meh. You know what I mean?
I get what you're saying.
Was great. The multiplayer was second to none. The fact that vehicles so much as tap you and you just die, love it. Magnums just being the only thing you use in Halo 1 multiplayer, love it. The anniversary graphics, love it. But I play Halo games primarily for the campaigns because I'm a sucker and don't have friends.
Same.
Hell yeah, brother. And so I will not go back and play Halo 1 because I will play the first 3 missions and then I'll play them more and be like, that was fun. On to the next.
I completely get where you're coming from, and you're absolutely right. The level design leaves much to be desired. Like, there's a lot of padding where you're just backtracking through levels that you've already been through, and all the corridors look the same, so you get lost easily, and you're like, well, where do I go? Have I been here already? Oh no, I haven't. It turns out I had to look at this super obscure switch behind this random gray pillar number 39 to get to open the door to go to the next level. Completely understandable. Yeah. You're 100% correct. But at the time, there wasn't anything. There wasn't an FPS that controlled that fluidly and was that accessible, and was just that responsive and like the way that the physics were done. You overlooked a lot of the shortcomings because, just throwing a grenade with the press of a button instead of having to switch to a separate item in your menu just having a grenade button and a melee attack, again, like, just you don't have to switch to a crowbar like in Half-Life or something like that. Just everything was it made the game so fluid, and so like after you threw a grenade, you know, the two weapon thing was kind of novel, you know, because you had to play this juggling act. Oh, that was cool. How did I do that? I can just jump onto the ship. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, you kind of overlooked a lot of those things, and then the fact that like, okay, yeah, I got to deal with this shitty level design, but then I'm going to be able to get into a tank at some point, or I'm going to get to fly a Banshee or pilot a Ghost. Like, well, what is this, a hover thing, and it's got 2 plasma rifles? Oh, this is, you know, it just kind of... So, it's not as good as games these days, for sure, but I can go back and play Halo 1, even with the original graphics, and have an okay time. Just maybe because I'm just colored by nostalgia.
Absolutely, yeah, I'd agree with that as well. See, I am. I know you said, "Oh, don't disclose your age," but like, I'm a young'un, all right. Like,
Sure.
So I started with Halo Reach. Halo Reach was my first.
Oh wow.
And I was given the Halo Reach Oni Special Edition Xbox 360, and okay, it was a big bundle. I think I've still got the big box for it somewhere. So that was my first. And so my first experience with Halo Combat Evolved was the remastered edition. And initially, because like I was playing on like an 18-inch tiny TV that was like 720p at best, and it was like there's no reason for me to play anything but the anniversary graphics. I didn't appreciate the sound design when I was that old.
Yeah.
And so I didn't. Going back now, I'd rather play Combat Evolved with the original graphics, because on the MCC, the Master Chief Collection, it gives you the original sound design, which is just infinitely better. I love elites that are like nice and vocal about it. Non-vocal elites are boring, but you know, I ended up. So I think the order I played my Halo games in was Reach, then 3, then I played Anniversary, then 4, then 2. And I'm yet to play 5. But I played like Wars and 3 ODST somewhere in there as well.
Wow.
And to be honest, like Halo Combat Evolved for me now is a game that I play with a friend of mine, and we put on like the infinite ammo skull, the cowbell, and the ones that like just make enemies throw grenades all the time and everything. And we just play grenade ping pong the entire time because it's ridiculous, and we just die an awful lot. And then especially on Pillar of Autumn, every time we die, we just respawn and just go, I need a weapon, in a really bad Master Chief impression. And you know, it's funny for us. So
hey, I can
really,
appreciate
like,
that.
all I get out of it.
Yeah, I can completely appreciate that. Yeah, you know, and that was another thing, is Halo built this community. You know, it was one of the games at the time that, one of the first games of the time that unified people, because just through word of mouth, people were like, have you played this game? This game, it's called Master Chief, or because you know you've always got the dude who doesn't know the name of the game, but he's just because he's never played a video game before, but somebody showed it to him, and then he goes and tells all his friends, and then eventually you go to some convention, and then you have like 80 guys in a bathroom singing the theme using the echo. There's a video on YouTube, just like 80 dudes stuffed into this hotel bathroom, all of them singing the Halo theme.
No other, all the infinite knockoffs that got way more popular than that, like men's bathroom choir and things. Yeah, it's so silly.
Silly is a good way to describe it. But
all right, let me appease your audience. I'm British, aren't I? Bit stupid, innit? There you go. Do the people want me to say bottle of water in the voice as well?
I think you just did. Pretty sure.
No, you know what I mean. Like.
Oh, right. Bottle of water, yeah.
Bottle of water.
But yeah, no, you don't have to do that for us. Just for our entertainment's sake.
Out my accent for you people, damn it.
What is your accent, by the way, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh God, what was this about not disclosing personal information on the internet? No, so this is south coast of the good old centre of the British Empire.
Okay.
Anywhere along the south coast is probably pretty accurate. I imagine if you went too far out west, you'd lose me. But you know, anything from the White Cliffs of Dover to about like Torquay-ish would about reflect my accent.
Well, yeah, most people know this about me. I'm from California, and my accent is I guess it's Bay Area Californian, colored with a heavy twinge of Texan, actually.
That's it. You've disclosed too much. I'm going to come and find you in real life now and look at you with your sunglasses that you're wearing at night and just
Right.
be like, "Hey, I'm a patron of yours. I didn't plan this far ahead," and then I'll go home.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know this, but I didn't even know this, and I'm from this place. But California is there's a heavy it's heavily influenced by farmers. There was a huge migration of
Affiliated
farmers.
JJBL.
Take care, JJ. Proud of you. Keep up the good work.
Is that why you call yourself JJ? Is that the JJ?
No,
person
no,
that you-
no. That's not it at all. Cyber, he accidentally misheard something that Duel said, and he thought that Duel had called me JJ on a stream. I don't know what he heard. I mean, the VODs are all on YouTube. I wish I could. I had the time to scrub through those and see what it was that Duel said that made Cyber think it was JJ. But I just ran with it.
Time for things. We have jobs. Ugh, God.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
Zyber came here for terrible impressions and British accent. Zyber, you just stick something in chat for me to say, and I will say it. And I'll say it either in my voice or the British voice, whatever you prefer. I really don't mind.
There's so many British voices, though. When people say, like, oh,
There
yeah.
is.
Yeah, there's like over 50.
Like, I don't know what the big debates are on your side of the pond are, over in the USA, but like what we call a bread roll over here is one of the nation's arguments in terms of obviously outside of like political arguments that people actually have a vested interest in. What we call a bread roll is one of the biggest arguments because it is so contentious depending on where you are in the UK.
You don't just call it a roll?
Well, so we have words like bread roll. Some people call it, will refuse to call it anything but a sandwich. Some people just call it roll as opposed to a bread roll.
Wait, hold on. Are you saying a sandwich is a roll?
It's if you cut like a lump of bread that has been made into a roll, if you will, in half, and then you sandwich it around the thing that you're eating in it. Yeah, some people call it a sandwich.
Okay. Okay. All right. I was confused for a second.
Yeah, but then you go far enough north, and most people call it a batch.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, I'm not going there, because I try to order lunch and then I get deported.
Probably get stabbed before you got deported.
That's
Not like
funny.
because the area is particularly violent or nasty. It's just out of principle.
Out of principle.
Excuse me. Just
Bon is from Scotland. Beautiful, beautiful Scotland.
So is it so band? I assume you're aware of the batch term.
What is a
The
batch?
sort of-
I've heard.
It literally just a sandwich or like a roll or something.
Oh.
You'd get like 2 slices of bread and you'd put bacon between them and that's it.
See,
bacon
yeah.
batch.
Here in
Call it.
California, when someone says batch, it's it's not nice. It's usually it's uttered in the sense of "shut up, batch," and
Oh.
so completely different. Which is
I'm going for sort of north of London before the border ban.
okay. All right.
For Hadrian's.
Do they not have that where you are, Cyber? Have you never heard "shut up, batch"?
Where are you from, Cyber? Let's all just dox ourselves.
Cyber is very vocal about where he's from. He doesn't care at all. He's just like, yeah, I'm over here
Please.
in this place.
I
I'm
don't
not gonna
care
say.
either. I don't care either, personally.
Yeah, it's not
I know you're
like
all,
who's
you
gonna
know,
get on a
protective.
plane? Who's gonna get on a plane and try and come find you?
Yeah. I'm not an internet micro celebrity that makes good MGS videos. I've got nothing to fucking worry about here.
Yeah, you don't make any political statements or try and
I can
eliminate
do.
all of gaming like I
can
do.
do if you'd like. I can make all the political statements if you want.
Hey, I don't shy away from being political.
Glasgow
A lot of people do,
sandwiches.
you know, which is one
I
of the
had
reasons.
Sorry, Carol.
Yeah, one of the reasons why I was explaining to somebody recently, like one of the reasons why I am so careful to hide my identity and my name or any personal details is because sometimes I do get political because I'm, you know, I have this platform in order to voice my opinions, and I'm not going to shy away from saying what I feel, but there are certain walks of life, especially certain professional circles, that might want to shy away from that, so as to not
Absolutely.
hinder my professional career. I keep that separate.
Well, yeah, I feel that. So I mean, that's why all my social medias are incredibly private, and it's very much an echo chamber for me at this point because I have opinions, but Lordy knows I wouldn't be able to get the job I wanted if I shared them.
Yeah, right.
Don't worry, I'm
Exactly.
one of the good guys.
Exactly. But I imagine British politics is still much more polite than it is over
You'd
here.
be surprised. No,
Oh, okay.
you'd really be surprised. I went to what we call a political hustings during the last general election, and one of the candidates who is very popular from where I live is is infamous amongst people that aren't OAPs, old age pensioners. Said he's just not a very nice man. Basically, you know, doesn't particularly care about his constituency, and so he was up on stage, and they had a little quick fire segment where they asked all of the like political candidates for the area like random questions. One of the questions was, have you ever done drugs? And so obviously this is like a way of, oh, will these politicians give up they've done drugs before? And a lot of people, they're like, yes, I have. Oh, did it in college. But this guy abstained from it, and so I was like, fuck off, you've snorted crack off a kid's asshole. And
What?
then I got thrown out.
What?
you know what? I'd give away too much if I said any more because we're on about not doxing ourselves this evening. If I told you where the star was from, you'd very quickly find me because it's not a particularly large constituency, nor is the UK particularly large. So I'll leave it at that. But lots of people shouted lots of nasty things at this particular man over the evening, all of them likely under the age of 40.
I don't know. I don't. Somebody please clip that. Please clip that, because I don't know what's funnier. I need to revisit that. What, just the phrase itself, or hearing it said in a British accent.
Would you like me to say it again for a clearer clip?
No. Because in the moment, there's no way you could reproduce that. The magic of the first time.
It is a kind of magic.
That was.
Touching abuse of politicians.
Oh man. Oh, shut up. You've snorted crack off a kid's asshole. First off, you can't snort crack. That's not... If you try...
In the moment when you're like, I'm going to get thrown out for saying this, and then the adrenaline hits and you're like, just say it.
Yeah.
Then, you know.
It doesn't matter. Just say it. You're going to get thrown out anyway.
They had intended to record it and actually like have it shown live on the BBC because it was supposedly a hotly contested political thing. It didn't get streamed in the end, and I wasn't the only one shouting things at this particular candidate.
Oh
man!
man!
Lots of people were there, like, you know, oh, you stole the school dinner out of my children's mouths, and you know, go, you know. Actually, I haven't realised if I finish that sentence, it will disclose where I am. But
okay.
you know, lots of things. As a particular politician, this guy that were very unsavory, you know, and probably the reason why they were throwing us out was because it was like, hey, not only are you causing a disruption, but we can't like do you for slander because we aren't necessarily going to upload this, so it's going to be like self-contained in the room, and you can't do someone for slander for shouting something nasty at you.
Wow.
You know, so yeah, but there was a vested interest in not having politicians be particularly shouted at. But yeah, God, British politics is not polite. Like, there was a whole video released, and I shan't say where I stand on the matter, but the Conservative Party released a video of young Conservatives, and they were saying like, oh yes, well, I'm a university student, I'm a young Conservative, and I'm proud of my position, but because of my political position, people have told me that I should be stabbed and hung and shot and things for my political opinions, and as a way of framing that British politics is not polite.
Thank you, Cyber, for the clip. I'm gonna play that on loop later.
In the same way that you said, "Oh, you can't snort crack," it's like, well, anything's a dildo if you're brave enough.
Okay. News at 11. No, yeah, that was really funny.
Cacti, why not cacti? But
Cacti. I have no idea where to go.
that's
By the
all.
way, I'm just running in circles, and
You should go to Steam and download Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. It's an excellent idea. You should do that.
Okay, all right.
Have you ever played Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines?
Let's see how long I've played it. Let's see what we got. It wasn't much.
Be really interested to see, because, like, I'd always want to just lock you in a room and force you to play like the back end of that game, because it's absolutely abysmal. The start of the game is incredible, some of the best RPG ever of all time. But the back end of the game is just, the Chinatown segment is awful.
I've played 19 minutes.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
You see that big blue install button, you can hit.
Yeah, nope, not gonna happen.
No,
I'm on big picture mode to hide my desktop. I got some incriminating stuff on my desktop. So this is now my desktop.
What are you puffing at?
Yeah, what is he puffing at? Yeah, I've played 19 minutes. I lasted
played
that.
Agents of Mayhem.
I did play Agents of Mayhem. I think I rented this from Redbox. And then they gave it away. They just gave it away.
I was foolish enough to pre-order because I'm a big fan of the Saints Row series.
Yeah. Same here.
Well, there we go. Are you excited for the new one when it comes out?
No, not at all. It's gonna be bad.
What? Actually, I'd like to know why.
Why it's gonna be bad?
Yeah, no.
Because it's like once you get to 4, you know. Oh, Winback? Oh, I haven't heard that name in so long. I never really got into it, but I want to play more. I will at some point play Winback for sure. But anyway, what were we talking about? Also, so I want to make sure I'm pronouncing your name right. Is it Matt or is it just Matt?
Oh, Matt's just fine.
Okay,
when
cool.
I went to, it's actually like a spin on my Xbox gamer tag. I was like, I just want to be like, Matt with 2 numbers at the end that correspond to my birth year. And
yeah.
Somehow they weren't available. Even in the format that I was posting it in, it was not available, apparently, at the time.
Yeah.
And this was before the Microsoft introduced a thing where you can now have the same gamer tag as someone, but it adds like a hashtag number at the end of your gamer tag to make you unique. So, like,
Oh, I didn't know that.
two people could both be called, say, like DeadVec, and then you as the original would just be like DeadVec hashtag 3672, and then the other person, it's always called DeadVec, would be like DeadVec hashtag 4867.
Yeah, I was surprised to learn that I was the first Dead Vector, or my company was, because I am not Dead Vector, but
There's a company called Dead Vector.
yeah, that's the people think that you know how like Donkey or somebody like that will make a joke like, in Halo you play as Halo, and like I'm playing Metroid, and Metroid is the main character, and she has a power beam on her arm.
Right.
Metroid
okay,
can
so
turn into a ball.
It's a joke that I'm just like too autistic to understand.
It's not really a joke. It's just like, how you have a lot of things where the protagonist is the name of the story. Like Kana, Bridge of Spirits, or Legend of Zelda. People think Link is Zelda, right? Because why wouldn't the main character be the title Naruto?
I was really, really confused when I found out I wasn't playing as John Halo in Combat Evolved. So.
Yeah, you're John Halo. John Halo. Fantastic. Right, so John Halo.
I stole that joke. I won't claim credit for that one.
Good for you. Good for you not claiming credit for jokes. I do the same thing. Like when I come up with a good joke, I came up with the best joke of the decade last night. Phoenix was playing Jackbox, and so I joined in the Jackbox game. And there's the clip is on Discord. And
Yeah, I watched it.
Yeah.
It. I didn't understand it.
Well, the prompt was, the announcer is like, okay, name the movie title of a crime fighting jockey and his horse. And so I wrote Seabiscuit Special Victims Unit, and it got one of the biggest reactions I've ever seen.
I just don't get it. Like, we have the Grand National over in the United Kingdoms, and
Where do I
the
go?
Grand National, it turns out some really, really weird names for horses. Like, I think my absolute favourite name for a horse I've ever seen was just, the horse is called According to Pete.
Okay.
But I didn't understand. That's what I was contextualizing it against. I assumed Seabiscuit was the name of like a Grand National horse or something.
No, it's a Tobey Maguire movie. After Spider-Man, he did a movie about a horse where he was a jockey. Yeah. And then Special Victims Unit is the Ice-T show, where he goes, and I got news for you. That means you're gay.
Yes, sirree. Okay, right.
Right.
Yeah, no, went completely over my head. I appreciated the person with the VTuber avatar laughing at it, but I didn't understand it. Oh, Dead Vec is taking an ad break. That was really quick.
Oh, okay, great.
Might make that my sub note too. You know what, Van? I highly encourage that, but I could see that going really wrong because someone's going to sub to you, and then it's going to be like, I got news for you.
Right.
It means you're gay.
Right.
And then they're going to be like, actually, I'm not. And then it's just, again, like, you're going to get dragged on Twitter, friend. Then they're going to dig into your Discord history and find out you've got a not quite swastika on there, and that's it. You're going to be like, hey, it's actually a Japanese thing or whatever it is, and then they're going to be
I don't think anybody can hear you. I think if you got an ad break, that means everybody else did. Is it over?
Oh, it's over. Yeah, it ended almost like immediately.
Okay, cool. Bon, if you do that, like, I applaud you, but just know that's gonna go south real quick. But you'll probably be forgiven because Scottish. Scots can get away with everything.
Hey, mate, that means you're gay to me.
Well, I don't know who got the ad break.
I did it. It literally came up for like a second, and it was like, hey, it's an ad break for like 2 seconds. It just said Dead Vex taking an ad break, and then the stream resumed immediately.
Well,
this game looked really good to start with, and now it really, really doesn't.
Yeah, when it opens up, because they have to sacrifice polygons. I'm looking at the map, and I don't know where I haven't been already.
Alternatively, you could play something else.
I could. I definitely could. I think I might have enough footage for the video. I don't think I got the morph ball. I just need footage of me morphing around. I got some grappling hook footage.
But it's just a future video that I'm going to see a few hours before everyone else because I am a patron.
Right. You absolutely will. I'll make sure to set it up properly.
Wonderful. You see, everyone, this is your incentive. You should become a patron to the Dead Vector channel because you get to see these excellent bits of content that a little bit earlier. And if you're like me,
you get to react. You get to react in real time. And
yeah, well, I don't get to because I'm either asleep or at work whenever you premiere these damn things. But there we go.
I try and wait for you to see it, and then I take your feedback, and then based on what you say, then sometimes I'll scrap the video and start over from scratch.
That's actually that is true. You actually the whole, what was it? I think it's the Ocelot video. I told you there was a joke in it that didn't land right, and you actually took it out, and I was really surprised.
I didn't actually scrap the video, but no, I probably had taken it out in the original script anyway, just because my sensibilities have changed.
Honestly, I've told you this on message before. I think I might even told you the last time we spoke on voice, but I used to have your videos just on like a loop for me sometimes. So you just got that that right tone of voice. Apparently, it's just the right background noise, and I just have it on and holy shit, I'm productive when I've got your videos on in the background.
Yeah, was that you? Somebody a while ago, years ago, was like, "Hey, where are your videos? I used to fall asleep to your videos," and I was like, "Well, that's not reassuring at all. That makes me feel
That's not-
terrible.
no. I never fall asleep to them.
Someone
no,
said that. Someone, it wasn't you, but someone did say that to me. They were like, "Oh, I used to fall asleep to your videos. They're so soothing." And I'm like, "Well, if my videos are putting you to sleep, that means I got to rethink a couple life decisions."
Absolutely. No, I remember when you were. When am I allowed to say the original channel name? I don't know the rules on that one.
Let's say no. Let's just pretend it
Okay,
doesn't
yeah.
exist.
Okay,
It never
so
happened.
in the land before time began,
Yes.
when we were all something different, I remember like patroning to your Patreon
Right.
and being like, "Oh boy, I can't wait to get videos early. I sure do love this content." And then the first post on the Patreon is there like, "I'm closing this down. I'm deleting all the videos. Thank you and good night." And I'm there like, I'm earning literally like £6 an hour. I've just spent nearly 2 hours worth of my time patron to you at the rabble rouser level. Fuck. And then I messaged you about it. I'm like, "Are you really closing down your channel? Are you really deleting all of them?" Like,
Yeah.
I've just gone to patron to you, and you're like, yeah, I fucking am. I'm there like, well, you know what? If I do it again, you let me know because I will pay for it.
Yeah, well, I hope I've made it up to you and you've gotten your money's worth from,
Oh god, absolutely.
yeah, I wasn't, at that point, I wasn't sure how Patreon worked, and so...
Mr. Cyber, hold on, sorry, Vec. It was 15k for the videos, actually.
Right, yeah, no, 14,999 and 98 cents. It's on
Yep,
sale.
that was it.
Yeah.
That was it. Yep, I remember that. Do not challenge me on this. I am the Dead Vec Law Master, apparently.
I actually lied. I did not have an archive of those videos. I thought I did. Like, I have the actual
Well,
videos.
now I'm really disappointed.
I have the actual videos, but I didn't have the archive to rebuild them. I lost the project files. So, but the good news is, like the important ones they're back up they've risen from the ashes. I am having a good time just jumping around though.
It is a fun game. It's got like that Halo 1 fluidity, hasn't it, where you could just jump and shoot and do your thing.
Yeah.
Zyber, call me a puffed again and you're getting fucking banned, sunshine.
Quit calling him a piffed.
Oh,
no, yeah.
God.
Oh, I get what
I'm
you
soaking on
were
a page.
responding to. Yeah, it was not 10K. It was 15K. Yeah, you are the dead Vec lore keeper.
Yeah, I am. I fucking am. Alright, I watched that like 40-minute video that ended with the life and death equation video like at least twice.
It's not an equation. It's actually an engine.
Yes, I know. But the original video was called Life and Death Equation.
Right. Well, it was called the Outer Heaven equation.
Yes, I am the dead Vec.
You're losing lore points here, Matt. I'm kidding.
You know what? I cast my eyes over to my 13-knot hangman's noose and I say, maybe today, friend. That's it. I'm throwing in the towel. Done out here.
It's so British. Love it.
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah. No, God, I won't lie to people. Hey, here's a defining fact about me. I am depressed.
Oh.
I will joke about it.
I think that's the best way to deal with it, in my experience.
Yeah. I'm yet to see it work any other way in an effective manner. Like I've tried CBT, and then I realized that cognitive behavioral therapy wasn't for me, so I tried CBT, and turns out cock and ball torture isn't either.
Okay.
So, that's a joke.
Yeah.
No, humour's absolutely the way to deal with it.
Yeah,
So
I mean, it didn't work for it didn't
time.
work for Robin Williams, but I think what happened with Robin Williams is that he just spent so much of his time trying to make other people laugh instead of focusing on what made him happy.
I mean, I can't say I even really appreciated his career before he went. Shame to say, really. But obviously, I'd never seen his interviews. Obviously, didn't know him personally, so I don't feel like I can rightfully comment, especially the field I intend to go into. I just can't be like, hey, this is why he did it. But
Right.
I dare say that's right because if you don't spend enough time on yourself, you're gonna be sad. As a regular Izzy Eddie Izzard. God, can you tell I'm like 3 double rums deep? My God. I have to Google who Eddie Izzard is now.
I don't know
Oh!
who he is.
Stand-up comedian. Right, God, yeah. I mean, maybe. I haven't ever seen an Izzard live, but I will take that. I feel like I'll say things with no filter, just like Louis C.K. does, but I won't masturbate in front of people as a power move.
Power move.
Yeah, Louis C.K. had that whole thing where he was like, he ended up like, I guess you could call it debating someone from the church, and this person was there like, well, why don't you save yourself for God and when you're married, and then you can truly divulge that love with somebody else, and obviously that's like a dumbass argument. You could have just said, I'm just going to do what I fancy, but I appreciate that. But he decided to come back like, well, you know what? I masturbate. God's happy about it. But there's a whole thing about Louis C.K. Doing a Harvey Weinstein where he sort of pressured people into engaging with him in such a manner on the basis of his status as celebrity. It got him off. Mr.
Man.
Dead Vector, sir, do you have Virgil playable?
Yeah, I'm gonna continue my Virgil playthrough.
Oh, thank God. Virgil is just my favorite.
Not mine, but I hadn't played him until the DLC went on sale, and so Nero.
My issue is I own the original Devil May Cry 5 because I'm on the Series X, so I have to buy the special edition if I want to get it with the Series X enhancements. You know, and I mean that does mean that I can run the game at like 4K 120 frames, no hassle, which would be lovely. But you know, my monitor only goes up to 60 frames, which is a shame, I suppose. But it's like point of it being, I don't want to spend £40 just to play Virgil in 60 frames. Especially when Virgil's design in this game, and this is probably potentially a hot take, but I think his design in this game is really boring.
Yeah. I mean, you know, for sure. It's the game. Like I already did my review. The game isn't as good as it could be. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But it's better than Bayonetta.
I haven't played Bayonetta, so I can't comment. But what I will say is if Devil May Cry 5 wanted to be the best game it could possibly be, it should have just been Devil May Cry 3 remastered.
Let me see. No, Capcom would never do that.
I firmly believe that Devil May Cry 3 is the absolute pinnacle of the series, and if it had DMC5's like buttery smoothness of the gameplay, even DMC4, it would be the best in the series far and away, because the story had the central focus on the characters that people have historically cared about. It had Virgil being a massive anime weeb, mainly what I'm there for. Virgil's gameplay was pretty bloody wonderful, and you know, that's all there really was for it, you know?
Yeah.
Wait, Band to the Kai base. Which bit's base?
The Louis C.K. part, I think. I need to
God.
restart. I think I'm trying to focus on the fact that I can't hear anything, and the fact that
I apologize. Louis C.K. is not based. Louis C.K. should be based at the bottom of the ocean until he drowns.
Okay. That's not the story I heard. I don't know. I'm not plussed up on Louis C.K. lore, and I never will be. But
No, to be fair, I'm pretty sure I got that from a secondhand like friend's Facebook post. But I intentionally sculpt my friends list on Facebook to be a reliable source of people that will ultimately be an echo chamber to me. So contradictions heighten, I'm sure. But if I want to have a career in the future and get that sweet pension pot on a mortgage, I kind of have to do this game.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not gonna talk about Louis C.K. But from what I heard, is that it got blown out of proportion.
Probably.
And but whatever. That's neither here nor there. I'm playing Devil May Cry.
Okay, DMC5. DMC5, right? On topic. Virgil's
Right.
like hand fist fighty thing, like the Beowulf he's got on now, is infinitely better than Dante's in DMC5. The fact that like Dante's you have to choose between fists or feet was fucking ridiculous. I don't know whose design idea that was, but it was awful.
I can't catch up with chat. Cyber, don't call me Red Vec again. Just don't. And I can't explain why. Just don't do it.
That would imply that you're a communist, Vector. Have you been engaging in communist actions? Are
Of
you
course.
standing against the wonderful state of the United States of America?
Always.
I will call Huark on your ass right now.
Well, whatever. But I mean, let him come. But I'm just, as you can see, the motif of everything that I do is an ethereal blue. A ghostly blue, if
Absolutely.
you will.
Is that not just a psyop, the same as Mr. Vouch on YouTube is?
Mr. Fauci, what'd you say?
No, Mr. Vouch.
Oh.
YouTuber, a very foolish opinions, no understanding of what he reads at all. It's just a bit of a mug, really.
I can't destroy or eliminate the institution of gaming unless people get my color scheme right.
Yeah, it's blue vector, alright?
Yeah.
Blue vector, do vector, although that is a patron privilege only. You have to pay to be able to do Mr. Vector here.
I hate these things.
Shoe vector. This is a vector that has a big thing for sneakers. Lou vector. Not to be confused with Lou Reed or a water closet. This joke's warm said I'm gonna shut up now and keep drinking.
I'm trying to concentrate on not dying. 'Cause these enemies, I hate them. Oh, you know what I should play instead? I should play DMC Devil May Cry. I love that game.
You know, I went back to play it recently, and I haven't played it in ages, and the one thing I did appreciate about it is how absolutely accessible it is. Because I went in and jumped in immediately on, like, Gods Must Die hardcore.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, this game is, like, a really good balance of challenging and kind of fun. The issue is I've played this game God knows how many times, and I'm really, really bored of all the levels of it. But then I closed the game, I chuckled to myself and booted up GTA Online again because I'm a heathen. Philistine, if you will.
I know what I need to do. Hold on a second. Let me kill this guy real quick. Hold that thought. How'd he get me right there? What?
Oh, I assumed you were going to remove the support for espousing support to GTA. I'm not supporting it at all.
No, it's where's my mouse?
Keyboard sucks. Zyber, why does your keyboard suck? Is it because you typed red vec on a typo?
Oh, now the game thinks I want mouse controls. Which I do not. Hold on, I gotta close that.
Indeed. I mean, I've been typing things all day, buddy. My job literally involves taking the series of notes from a thing that I do. I can tell. I can say my job, can't I? My job's not a defining feature. Plenty of people do my job.
Okay, up to you, I guess.
That's safe. They're not gonna come and find me. It's fine. God, the rubber's really kicking, isn't it? Shit.
Why can't I hear? I don't know. How's the volume for everybody else out in Twitch land? Can you guys hear okay? Do I need to turn people up? Are the levels okay? He's low all of a sudden. Why is he lower than I turn him up and it's lower than it was before?
Mr. Vector, if I may stipulate, they are lower all of a sudden.
Yeah. Turn your speakers up because I just cranked him up to like 11, but these go to 11.
My speakers. Do I need to crank my speakers up? How do I do that?
No, I turned you up to maximum in Discord, so you should be fine.
Where are we up, are we? Let me dinner first. I am across the pond, Zyber. Who's the East Coast guy? I forget.
He's in the background?
I don't know.
Oh. That's weird. Okay. Matt, say something again?
Hi.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah. Okay. Why? Okay, there's 2 instances of Discord for whatever reason.
Better. Zyber says we're better.
Slightly better. Better in a sense, but not better for my ears.
You know what?
What is going on? I should sound okay.
I hate listening to myself. Like, I've just turned the sound on so I can hear myself back through the Twitch stream.
Right.
And it's like, I hear myself and I'm like, I just hate it so much.
Yeah, I hate my voice too, which is why I have all kinds of vocal surgery to repair what God broke. Okay.
Like, I hear myself and it's like, my God, yeah, you know what? No wonder I was bullied in high school. Holy fuck.
I mean, yeah, just move to the States, you know? You'd be treated like a god.
You think? I feel like they would try and throw me in the harbor.
No way. They'd be like they would be in awe. No joke. Or Japan.
My
Yeah, like,
God.
if you go to
Are
Japan,
you British?
yes, go spend 2 weeks in Japan. You'll have the time of your life.
I do intend to like see Japan at some point in my life. I'd quite like to travel all over the place, but that's one of the places on the list. I'd also like to see China, the Philippines. I'd like to see Vietnam. I'd like to see a lot of Asian countries actually, because I have such a small understanding of those nations.
Well, Japan specifically, you know, if you don't wear glasses, get glasses, and then
Oh, I do.
yeah, well then good. Just wear your glasses and be in Japan. You know, it'll be like they will literally roll out red carpet for you.
I've heard of the trend of the white monkey in Japan.
I don't know what that is. I don't know if I want to know.
It's where Japanese businesses will hire Japanese-speaking white people to make their company look more diverse, and they'll give them like a standard salary just to stand around and be white.
The way you describe that, you're not wrong. Just stand around and be white. That's funny.
You just, it's that classic vine. It's just they're like, I think I'll pay with my credit card, but you say it in Japanese, and they're like,
Right.
oh my god, woo! And,
Right.
I'm not going to attempt to imitate a Japanese accent or speak in Japanese because I don't know Japanese.
That's all right. I'll
understanding.
compensate.
I'm sure you will. No, my understanding is again the few quotes I've gleaned from the Yakuza series, which again I appreciate your reasoning for not wanting to play. I'm sorry for pushing so hard on that, but like, yeah.
I don't really have a reasoning. I've played some of them, and I played demos, and it's just they didn't capture me. I don't like the characters. I couldn't really tell you a good reason for why I don't want to play them.
No, I think the question, sorry, the answer rather, not question. The answer you gave me when I asked in another stream was it was like, hey, I've lived in Japan, and I could be completely misremembering this, and do like slap me down and correct me if I'm wrong, but it's like you said there's like, oh yeah, but I've got trauma linked to being in Japan, and because those games are like living in Japan simulators, it was just going to be an unpleasant experience, and you wouldn't have enjoyed it. Therefore, you're not going to fucking play it.
Yeah, I guess that's part of it, but I mean, a good game is a good game, you know, and I'm sure it's fine. And the demos that I played were acceptable. But it's just, you know, it's a niche that
Yeah, fully.
I just can't get into. I don't know. I have a few of the games, which I would like to try at some point, and I'm sure I will.
I may ask, which ones do you have?
I think I have, okay, your voice is boosted from before. You're kind of overpowering that. Well, what can I do? Oh, okay, I see what's going on. I'm redlining. I'm blue lining. So.
Blue lining.
But that doesn't make any sense. Okay, here's what I'm going to do.
Why is my YouTube open? I should close that.
Mute everything. Okay. Right? So that way.
Mute me. While Dead Vet has him muted, everyone go bully them to play Yakuza 0. I demand it as a patron.
Who said that?
He said what?
Did you say that? Is that you?
Oh, I didn't say anything at all. What are you talking about? You want a bottle of do you want a glass of Havana Club? I'm pouring my fifth, fourth? I don't know what I'm on now.
You know what I might start doing, but no, for no reason, because coming up pretty soon, I'm gonna let you and all the other patrons know. I'm not gonna delete any videos, but there's gonna come a stretch of time where I just won't be making any videos because I gotta focus on writing.
Absolutely. So I'm so excited for Ethan Payne. Carry on.
Yeah. Okay. I'm trying to tweak these audio levels.
Would it help if I spoke louder?
No, it's not. It's not what you're doing at all. It completely has to do with the way that my audio is set up currently, and I gotta get that in line.
While you're working that out, if I may ask you a less brain power intensive question.
You can try.
Obviously, I'm speaking to you at the moment, and this is wonderful. I'm having a great time. But like, you've played games with dual revolvers before, and I appreciate you're all friends in like real life and stuff, but it's like cross-platform would be fun.
Like, in terms of what?
Well, I don't know what cross-platform games there are. I know that I particularly enjoy things like Deep Rock Galactic, and there's a new indie game. So it's kind of indie. It's a World War II shoot. It's called Enlisted, and they're just good fun to like doss about in.
Let's see.
I'm trying to become a regular on the stream, is what I'm trying to do here.
You know what you should do is, why not branch out and start your own stream? I'd tune in. We all would.
My
Wouldn't
mic
we, guys?
is noisy. Cyber, I appreciate that. Sorry, I should explain to you, sir. I am sat next to my house's boiler, and so it occasionally turns on. I'm also speaking through a pair of Bose headphones that don't have a dedicated mic that works. So I don't know if
Yeah,
it's like,
his mic is just noisy. You just got to deal with it. But
I am sincerely sorry.
that's
Really am.
you're fine. You're fine. He'll deal with it. He'll be fine. You know,
My Discord
Cyber-
settings are also set to such a way where it only picks up like my direct voice. I turned off I put on the background like noise inhibitor thing because again, when I'm running like tabletop RPGs over Discord with my friends, if the boiler comes on, it's really distracting. But at this point, it will only pick up my voice when I'm speaking at the higher ends.
I've never
So
heard
that's
it. I
probably
haven't
why
heard
it's
it
so
so
noisy.
far on the stream, so I think you're fine.
I can turn off the setting if you'd like to hear it because it literally is the droning.
No, Cyber's just a super pro audiophile, much like me. We actually use the same mic. The mic that he uses is the one that I recommended for him, and it's a really quality mic for $35 US.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
well, I was
so-
about to say, because I was expecting to say, like, if the number was going to start with 3, but it'd have at least 2 more integers afterwards.
No, it's a really high quality USB mic for a really great price. It's better than the Blue Yeti in my opinion, just because the Blue Yeti.
Blue Yeti is a shot.
Yeah, you'll spend way much more money on a Blue Yeti than this thing. So, yeah, you know, if you want to be a regular on the stream, you can't piggyback off my stream, but you can start your own. And all of us here are willing to help you get that started. So, if that's something that you're interested in,
I've not got the ability, mental capacity, or will to have a consistent stream. I know what I want to be a Twitch streamer, to be honest. Like, seeing the lives that super successful Twitch streamers live, that's absolutely not for me.
I mean, who says you have to be super successful? I mean, do you think I'm super successful? Like, I'm content where I'm at.
I am in no position to comment or critique it. But like, say if I wanted to Twitch stream as if I'm going to do something, it has to be like, okay, this is what I'm doing. It's going to be my primary source of income, unless I see it as a hobby. But in my hobbies, they have to be insular at the same time. Like, so as I was saying, I do tabletop role-playing against my friends. The one we're doing at the minute is Vampire the Masquerade V5. It's great. I'm telling a story with my friends. We're having a laugh. We're having a good time with it. It's great. But if I was doing it in public, either at like a board game cafe or if I was doing it on a stream, I would very quickly grow to hate it because it would no longer be this insular hobby that I'm looking for to get away from the general public. I need my time away from people, so unless I were to do streaming and aim for it to be a full-time job, I wouldn't be able to enjoy it to its fullest capacity because it wouldn't be my escape from...
I'm hearing a lot of
That was an awful-
excuses.
Yes, but they're honest excuses. They're not just me saying shit for the sake of avoiding doing what I don't want to do. It's genuinely not a desire of mine on account of those factors.
Well, hey, I mean, to each their own. If you don't want to do it, nobody can force you to do something that you don't want to do, and I'm not going to convince you to do it.
Exactly
so
right.
You really got to want to do it. So if you don't want to do it, then don't.
Yeah. I've streamed all of once before, and that was purely to a friend of mine to show them that I was struggling with one of the hardest boss fights in Yakuza Kiwami. And you know what? The mental note that I was constantly making to myself that someone was watching me play the game made me actively worse the entire time because I just let it get in my head too much. And I was there for a couple hours maybe, just throwing myself at one boss fight. God knows why they saved me so long. I hate the section at the end of the fight carry. But it really threw me off. Like, I don't think it'd be an enjoyable experience for me. You know what I mean? It'd be like, I don't know, paying counter tax or something. It wouldn't be. It's not fun. But I appreciate your encouragement, Cyber. I really do.
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. Come on. Here we go. Up good. Yeah.
But so I fucking hate this section of DMC5. I remember playing through this one on the standard gameplay on the must die difficulty because I wanted super characters, and this section was just hell. Because like, when I originally played DMC5, I was on the Xbox One playing it at 720p, 30 FPS at most. You can't Royal Guard at 30 FPS. It just doesn't happen. Like, it is quite literally impossible to Royal Guard at 30 FPS.
I didn't realize the game ran like that.
Yeah, no, it does. On the original Xbox One, I'm pretty sure it's capped to 30 FPS. Like, one of my favourite Yakuza games is Yakuza Kiwami 2. The reason why the Xbox port is held back so far is because it only works at 30 FPS. You cannot, no matter how powerful your Xbox system is, it has to be on 30 FPS. And that's because of a different engine. And there's a move in the Yakuza series that is notorious for its incredible power known as Tiger Drop, which is just a counter move where, you know, you drop to one knee and you smack them in the gut and they fly back like 10 feet. It's a great move. I love it, but you can't do it on 30 FPS because your timing to trigger it, which is already specific enough, is literally half.
What was that?
You know what, Zyber, I appreciate you saying that. I will join your stream, and you know what, give me a call on Discord if you want me to come and ruin your day as well, because I'm sure that Vector is in a decidedly worse mood now that they spoke to me.
What? Did I say that?
I'm being self-deprecating because I have. You know what? Let's not get into the things I discussed with my counsel.
There we go. Okay. Now I'm Super Saiyan. Let's go. These guys don't stand a chance now.
I know what you're saying. Super Saiyan.
Yeah. That's right. Alright. Take care,
Devek.
I will probably try and join his stream later too. I'm looking forward. He's got these new cables for his Dreamcast.
Oh, I saw that, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm excited. However, if you're still here, I don't know if you are, I'm excited. And I will fully intend to join your stream later on. I will let you know if that is possible for me. Because it is currently nearly 9 PM for me, because British Standard Time. But, Mr. Vector,
yes,
because
sir.
the people are wondering, Aetherbane, if I'm not wrong in saying, is a kind.
Okay, let me cut you off. I'm going to let you finish, but let me cut you off. Tomorrow, me and Duel, we're going to play a couple rounds of Clue in Tabletop Simulator, and we're going to talk about. He's been helping me write the story for a few years, going back a few years now.
Right.
So we're going to do an in-depth discussion, avoiding spoilers, obviously. But you know, just talking about some of the concepts behind the universe that it takes place in, and you know, and trying to gamify that story, and how difficult a time I was having doing that, which is why I wanted to check Clue out, because it is it's a detective story, but I cheat. It's a cheater mode. It's a cheat. It's what am I trying to say? Without the stutter, please. It's a detective story with cheat codes.
I feel you. So like I forget that. What's the name of that game where you play as a detective that speaks to himself? Disco Elysium. Disco Elysium in New Game Plus, where you know what's going to happen.
Yeah. Okay. Ooh, I like that. I actually just added Disco Elysium to my wish list, but I can't afford to play it just yet. But soon.
Well, I think a friend of mine played it on their PS4, and they were sharing me some of the screenshots from what I genuinely consider to be some pretty fucking hilarious dialogue from it. And it was just there's a sequence where you're speaking to your inner monologue, and you're just singing Wu-Tang Clan, Nothing to Fuck With, and that's an excellent time if you ask me. But what you've just said there breaks my heart, because tomorrow I'm I don't know if I mentioned it in the Discord earlier or if I mentioned it tonight, because I probably have. I'm running a session of Vampire the Masquerade tomorrow.
Yeah.
And
okay.
we're at a super tense point in the story. I can't miss it for anything. I mean, I am the storyteller, so I've got to run it, obviously.
Yeah.
But like, it hurts my heart to know that I can't be there for that stream because my players need me.
Hey,
You know?
I respect that. You got to do what you got to do. There's going to be hundreds more in the future because I got to do a whole development diary. I really want to start chronicling the process of essentially what I call it. Bond, to answer your question, I think we're starting tomorrow at 1, but there's going to be a VOD if you're really interested. And what? No, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to turn down the volume of the game in the game. That's what I should have done.
But Cavalier Angelo has one of the best soundtracks in the game.
Yeah, but I need to be able to think. That's the problem. So,
Damn, you're a need to think, man. Come on, let me listen to Cavalier Angelo and myself on repeat.
yeah, I got a whole development series planned because it's kind of a crazy scenario. I call it making a game by writing a book. And that's not going to make a whole lot of sense until you actually see.
You know what? If I may springboard off of that, that is one of the most sensical things that you have said to me tonight in the way of saying the opposite to nonsensical, because I have run a D&D campaign before. I am currently running a Vampire Chronicle. I've played a Vampire Chronicle currently ongoing. I've played D&D campaigns before. And I always see it as, if you want to run a game of a tabletop RPG where it is story heavy and you've not got anyone to play it with you, just write a book.
Okay.
So I fully understand what you're saying. I really, really do.
Okay, well, good. I'm glad you get it. I think a lot of people aren't going to get it, and these are people that don't play tabletop games. But me and Duel, I wanted to use a yellow orb anyway. They give them away for free, so what does it matter?
They really do, honestly. And you know what? The people that don't rate you as stylish in the shared experience missions on DMC5,
yeah,
those people are awful people. And you know what? I broad strokes disagree with the guy, but bring back Stalin just to throw those people in gulags, because if you don't rate the player as stylish, you're a bad person.
Actually, eventually.
No one else.
You mentioned a while ago that that you thought you had heard me saying that I was gonna talk about remaking Devil May Cry 5 or something. Oh man, I missed that. Dude, this guy is destroying me. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. Just summon my doppelganger, and then I'm going Super Saiyan. Just
Am I
ruin
wrong in
his life.
saying that on higher difficulties, the windows to counter bosses does get smaller? Because it certainly feels like that, but that could be a placebo effect from my anxiety of acknowledging that I'm on a higher difficulty on this game.
Am I even getting healed right now? Come on, go hurt him.
You are,
Go hurt
yeah.
him. No, don't let him do his thing. No. Oh, you bastard. You son of a jerk. Oh.
Nice censoring. You've made the Twitch app very, very happy with that. Have you ever played the Ultimate Spider-Man game, Mr. Vector?
Ultimate Spider-Man. Is that the cel-shaded one?
Yes, where you play as both Spider-Man and Venom.
No, I have not played that one.
People big up Web of Shadows and Chess Dimensions. That was honestly Ultimate Spider-Man, as a Spider-Man fan since my birth. That's the best Spider-Man game.
You're saying Web of Shadows is the best?
No. Ultimate Spider-Man is the best one. It's a part of Web of Shadows. People hold up Web of Shadows and Chess Dimensions as the best Spider-Man games, even over the PS4 version.
That is not what I heard.
And I personally, really,
I've heard the opposite.
am I thinking Web of
Ultimate
Shadows?
Spider-Man. You might. I have played Shattered Dimensions. I don't think I. Oh, I did. I played Web of Shadows as well, actually.
Web of Shadows is, I'm just going to say this now, and excuse me to the people in the audience that don't like foul language, but Web of Shadows is fucking overpriced. It's not that good of a game. It's just because it ran so few copies and is now involved in a shit ton of memes that I can't pick up an Xbox 360 game for less than 30 Great British pounds. It's ridiculous.
Wow, I wasn't aware.
Yeah. Well, actually, talking of really expensive games that shouldn't be as expensive as they are, I have a friend of mine that lives out in Alaska, I believe. I couldn't remember, so I think they live in Anchorage. And the reason we started our friendship is because I made a post to like a gaming group on Facebook saying to people, "Hey, I'm trying to get Scarface: The World Is Yours running on my my Xbox 360 or my I was on my laptop actually at the time. Can someone help me download it and install the necessary patches to make it work?" And so this person volunteered themselves to help me. 2 years later, we're like the best of friends. It's wonderful. Half around the planet, we know each other like we're born together.
I'm doing that.
A D rank Vector. You're doing that again, aren't you?
Doing that again. Yep, I'm doing that again.
Okay.
Bon,
Scarface
what's 1
the
p.m.
World
PST your time?
1 p.m. PST.
What time
my
is it where you are right now, man?
It is 5 to 9 in the evening.
5 to 9. Okay, perfect. So then it's going to start 9 p.m. your time. Yeah.
So yeah, my vampire game runs from tomorrow. We're actually doing it an hour longer. We're going 5 p.m. to 10 p.m.
Okay.
So for British Standard Time, because you're not. I'm going to ask you this because it's your stream, your permission to give. Might I go on a ramble about my vampire games for a minute here?
Yeah, man. Self promo away. I'm all about self promo. Do it.
Oh, I'm not streaming this game at all. It's personally for me and my friends. It's just So I'm a country bumpkin through and through.
Okay.
And I don't really know any cities that well, but Vampire the Masquerade version 5 or 5E as it's more commonly known as, V5 to use its official terminology, recommends, hey, set your game in a city if you're not using one of our source books.
Okay.
And I don't know any cities. Again, as I said, I'm a country bumpkin at heart. So the city I know the best in this world is the map of Grand Theft Auto 5, the city of Los Santos, i.e. fake Los Angeles. And so that's where I set my, what they call Vampire Chronicle. It's why it made me laugh when you said the word chronicle earlier, because I'm thinking about, haha, I'm chronicling something as well. It's my friend telling a dumb vampire story.
Vampires are never dumb.
Twilight would beg to differ, but...
See, okay. We'll get into that at some point. Maybe not today.
No, hold on. I just want to say this now. I think vampires that can go out in the sun without bloody good reason are foolish.
But that is a good reason. Because I thought that was a brilliant piece of design. Like, you know, the fact that they glitter, and girls that are into glitter, it makes them easier prey. Like, I gotta restart again. I suck right now. I've never had this much trouble. But the fact that Edward was guilty about like being turned into this monster whose purpose is only to end people's lives by attracting them, by fooling them into thinking that, you know, he's this beautiful man, but reality he's, you know, his biology is designed to attract prey, right?
Yeah, I feel what you're saying, I really do, and I've heard the argument before, but I think that, again, World of Darkness, White Wolf, Vampire the Masquerade does it better, because, especially in V5, there is a predator type known as Siren, i.e. you only feed during, in some cases, fake, in some cases very real sexual acts.
Okay.
And so
wow.
You have to portray yourself as this desirable figure,
right,
to effectively lull your victims into thinking, oh my god, I want to be with them. And this is actually one thing, just as a side tangent, naturally, not every person in the world is happy with having sexual interaction in their tabletop RPGs.
I could imagine.
And this is considered in the Vampire the Masquerade source book. It has a bit in the back that says, hey, sometimes when a vampire feeds, especially of the siren feeding type, it might resemble sexual assault. Make sure your players are happy with this before you proceed.
Wow.
And so the reason why I'm such an advocate for vampire, especially at the minute, is because Dungeons and Dragons, being, you know, the grandfather of all tabletop RPGs, never says this. It never promotes any other tabletop RPGs, and it never encourages, you know, consent and checking in and the happiness of your players over the story. So,
well, that's interesting.
that's why, you know, actually, I'm going to pull it up. If you've caught me in an ADHD loop, this is my special interest. You fool, you have fallen into my trap. One of my favourite things in Vampire the Masquerade is its appendix number 3, right at the back of the book. Advice for considerate players. I may read you a paragraph. Fascism in play. Vampire the Masquerade is not a fascist-friendly game. If you're a neo-Nazi, alt-righter, or whatever you're calling yourself nowadays, we urge you to put this book down and call someone who you trust to talk about where you went so wrong in life.
So there's a...
That's why I like this game.
Vampire has a psychological aspect to it.
Fully, yes, and that is something I've been able to emphasise in the game I'm playing with my friends, is there has been a situation come up where my friend has had to say to me, actually, can we change how this plays out? I'm sorry it doesn't fit with the potential story you were trying to tell, but it's too triggering for me.
Wow, that's intense.
Because they're playing as the vampire clan known as Toreador. The Toreador prioritise beauty overall. Their obsession is with beauty, and the particular drawback from being a Toreador is that if you're in surroundings that you consider ugly or even unbeautiful, you are literally weaker as a vampire.
Wow.
And the Toreador are the most consistently of the siren feeding type, i.e. their power set, because each individual vampire clan has a semi-individual power set. Their vampire clan allows them to be the most sexually predatory.
Yeah.
And so, but their character sort of hinted at potentially like killing them or putting them into a situation where this vampire would choose to meet the sun on their own accord because their unlife rather is so ruined. And they said to me like, hey, I appreciate that's some fucking incredible drama, but if I do that because of my own personal feelings, that would be dragging up trauma for me, and I don't feel comfortable doing it. And that is something the vampire encourages. You discuss that shit, and you abide by the players. D&D never does that. But like Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition, the most popular edition known to man, does not encourage checking in with your players and making sure everyone is happy in any of its 3 core books. Whereas the Vampire V5 core book says, you don't welcome fascists, you better check in with your players and make sure they're happy. And so that's why I prefer it.
Okay.
And the dice system is better.
How does Vampire handle ranged combat? Dice rolls, I mean.
So dice rolls as a whole in Vampire. So while the D20 system is popularized by Dungeons and Dragons, whereby you roll a single dice, you apply your modifier, that is your result.
Right.
In Vampire, you have what's called the dots system.
Okay.
And so obviously I can't show it on your stream, but I do have a homemade character sheet of Vampire, and so how it works is you have a certain number of dots in it, and so each dot represents a D10 die. Playing as a vampire, you also have the hunger that you have to contest with. So, say my character in my friend's campaign, by the name of Crucifixio Onitsuka Cross for short, is going to go and punch someone. 5 dots in Brawl, so that's combining an attribute and a skill and how it works. And so I would take my 8 D10s, I would substitute one of the D10s, or however many D10s, for his hunger rating, which is scale from 5, and then I would roll that dice pool of 8 dice, and then everything I roll over a 5 is considered a success. Total up successes, compare that to the enemy's contrasted roll, you go from there.
Huh. Well, the reason why I asked is because as part of the Aetherbane project, the tabletop RPG component, which I would hope would eventually be converted into an actual like a what do you call it, a digital RPG that you could play like on a console or something. But the RPG component of the project is like a prequel. That I describe as, it's the Metal Gear RPG that I've always wanted to make since I was a kid. And but you play, like RPG combat or systems they revolve around the party system, and I was like, well, that's a perfect excuse to play as a supernatural hit squad like Foxhound, and that's your party.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now let me tell you.
Go ahead.
In terms of both the dice systems, as someone who has played hundreds of hours and watched hundreds of hours of Dungeons and Dragons, and someone who's played and watched hundreds of hours of Vampire the Masquerade V5, the dot system feels better as a player.
Okay.
Because with the D20 system, especially if you do it off the D&D model, whereby you roll a singular D20, and whatever that number rolls is your result, you have a 5% chance of each increment, and having the 20, the coveted natural 20, as they call it in the D&D community, being only a 5% chance to succeed, yes, that makes it feel special, but because of the way that what's called difficulty class, i.e. the number you have to roll to beat a given task or challenge in D&D works, most DCs sit above the number 10. So you have, if you have no modifier, you have a 50% chance of either succeeding or failing. And because of the way that D&D is structured, that win or fail system is both problematic for the player, because it's not fun to lose in a lot of cases, unless you were to make this 8 the Bane game where you're playing as this pseudo foxhound, a game where complications and failure and having to adapt to a player's mistakes is fun. Losing is not fun.
Never.
And that's a huge problem with TTRPGs, because in Vampire, playing as my character Cross, I actively relish the idea of failing something that in say it's like a social combat where, you know, myself and the person running the game, the storyteller, are playing a particular character and we're exchanging a war of words. I actively relish the times where Cross's blood gets so hot that his beast comes out and he actively tries to
Did you say his
calculate
beef?
a band. Beast.
Oh.
Vampires have a beast within them. That's the way that vampire works. I actively relish the time where Cross's beast, as in his inner vampire, comes out and he makes a mistake. He fucks up. He makes it harder for himself, because that's what keeps it interesting. And so Vampire succeeds in making failure interesting and almost desirable in a way.
Take care,
Whereas
Bon. I hope to see you tomorrow. I hope you can make it.
Yeah. Have a good day, Barn. Stay safe in the meantime, brother.
Mr. Swastika. I'm kidding. You're cool, dude.
Mr. Hindu symbolism that is
Right.
stuck
Yeah.
on the wall.
Exactly.
But yeah, Vampire makes failure fun. The D20 system of Dungeons and Dragons is not fun to fail in.
Right.
And just to contrast, 2 games I've played, same person running the games. We've got Sunless, a D&D campaign on one side, and Nightbreaker, Vampire the Masquerade Chronicle on the other side. Playing as Alpha Elive, the wizard in D&D. If I failed to, if I didn't roll enough dice and didn't do enough damage on one of my super powerful spells, or the enemy happened to roll a really lucky roll on the D20 and succeed the saving throw that I was forcing upon it, so it just swerved my incredibly wonderful fireball, sunbeam, whatever it fucking was. It was really unsatisfying. It was like, well, fuck, I've just gone and done my super cool anime moment and it hasn't worked.
Yeah.
Alternatively, in Vampire with the D10 system, exactly right, Jaw Revolvers, you've nailed it on the fucking head there, son. D&D 5e is super accessible, super popular, and is promoted by groups like Dimension 20 and Critical Role. And as much as I love Critical Role and Dimension 20, I hate them for what they're doing to the TTRPG scene by making it seem like D&D is the only viable solution to their TTRPGing problems. Whereas Vampire, on the other hand, say the enemy has a pool of 8 dice and you only have a pool of 3 dice. Yeah, the enemy's probably going to win because they have 5 more dice to potentially roll a success on than you do, whereas you only got 3 dice. But, you know, say you have a character that is built around the vampire mechanic of willpower. If you do get failures on some of your dice, you can re-roll them via the willpower system. And that re-rolling allows you to basically say, well, my character is overexerting themselves. They are literally expending their mental fortitude to succeed this action because it's so fucking important to them. And not only does that invest the players more, but it also makes the situation seem so much more tense, because assuming you're running Aetherbane again as a Foxhound style unit, say you've got to sneak into a base, you roll your stealth pool, say you're rolling 6 dice for stealth because you're a slightly larger character that's not perfectly spec'd yourself in a sneaking suit. being able to say, okay, I'll expend a point of willpower, and you get to re-roll some of those d10s that you were rolling for stealth, and you just manage to squeak it by. As the person who's running the game, you can say, okay, so as you're sneaking in, you're checking all your packs, you're making sure things are in the right place. You slip under the fence, but you see one of the guard dogs turn and sniff towards you. Hang in a moment. Pause, pause, pause. The dog turns away. You surpass the dog, but then you turn back to the building you're trying to get into, and you see a camera oscillate in your direction. What do? Player obviously says, hit the deck. Okay, you hit the deck, and you wait, and you wait, and the silence is palpable. The tension can be cut through with a knife, and then the alarms, they don't raise. You roll enough successes, and that, like, teasing up until the point of then releasing that the player succeeded in their action because they rolled that willpower and just succeeded, is a really, really powerful feeling. And I think that if you're trying to make Aether Bane something that can be promoted in such a way that it's commercial and really appealing for players to jump into, then that's the way that I would personally recommend doing it based off of my experience. But obviously, it's your thing, do your thing.
Yeah, okay. For sure.
This is the problem with telling a person with autism, hey, come and speak on my stream, because I'm going to do this.
I think you're too hard on yourself. You're doing great.
I absolutely am. I'm seeing my counsellor about it. Thank you for hearing me out. But that, I mean, again, as I said to you before, I would happily volunteer my services in trying to help you make this the best TTRPG possible, because I fucking love TTRPGs, and if I could take this thing that I have potentially helped create and present it to my players and then deliver a fun game in it, it would make me cry, because I'd be so proud of myself.
First thing we gotta do is come up with a better term for TTRPG, because it's just too easy to turn that into Titty RPG, which is just, it's a different experience. I'm not saying it's something that should be avoided. I just think...
I was about to say DRPG, but that just sounds like Dr. PG. And it's like, no,
PG.
we're looking for Dr. X-rated.
Dr. PG.
We're looking for emotional tension here, Dr. X-rated.
I'm probably gonna get demolished in this boss fight again.
I have faith in you personally, but that's my spiel on TTRPGs. I mean, if you ever wanted me to, and God knows that you probably don't, if you ever want me to sit down with you and just talk at you about tabletop RPGs, I'm willing. Yes, I've played Vampire the Masquerade and D&D, which are the two, like, probably two of the biggest contenders in the field. I've played plenty of others. I've played the Terminator one. I've played Mothership, which is a really fun one. It's heavily inspired by the original Alien film. That sort of thing. I mean, Dual Revolvers here has got another, like, Mutants, Mastermind, Starfinder, Star Wars, Force and Destiny, Chelsea. I mean, those are all excellent games that I intend to play as soon as possible. I've just played a lot of D&D and a lot of Vampire. And so, I don't consider myself an authority, but I consider myself a person with experience. So, again, if you ever need me, I'm patroning to you for a reason.
Okay, well, I will keep that in mind. I like having the option available at least. So, I mean, of course, at the playtesting phase, which is going to happen regularly, that sort of expertise will absolutely be necessary.
And what I will say as well is, especially because Wizards of the Coast, the publishing company for D&D, absolutely fucking refuses to promote any RPG that isn't Dungeons and Dragons, differentiating yourself from Dungeons and Dragons as much as possible would actually give you a better standing in the scene of not being D&D. Because, say if I flicked in the back of one of my Vampire the Masquerade books that I have set next to me, because I've got my Chronicle run tomorrow night, I go to the back of it and it tells me about all these other RPGs that I might be interested in playing. Not because they're similar to Vampire the Masquerade, but because they're TTRPGs by another company. I mean, it's promoting to me Achtung Cthulhu, it's promoting to me Robert E. Howard's Conan, Mutant Chronicles, Star Trek Adventures, etc. You know, the Kung Fu Panda, the board game, it's trying to sell me in the back of this Vampire the Masquerade V5 core book, alright?
Kung Fu Panda board game?
Board game? Yeah, apparently so. I didn't know about
Tomorrow
that.
we're playing that. Forget Clue. Kung Fu Panda.
Vector, good sir. I'm a firm believer that the secret ingredient is crime. Would you like me to share with you the source book for Vampire the Masquerade?
No, I can get that. I'm not at that level
Okay.
yet. You know, but that's the
Okay.
thing. That's the whole thing about the making a game by writing a book is yeah, gonna have to get another at best a C. I think the best I can do is a C.
Well, as a patron, I'm incredibly excited for a TTRPG to come from a creator that I'm sharing and investing in, because
Sure. Yeah. That
like,
makes a
again,
lot of sense.
everyone be a patron to Vex, because Vex a good guy. But like, I'm here because I support your content. In truth. God,
Well,
can you
hey,
tell
that
I'm,
means a
like,
lot.
5 from 6?
I can't
Yeah,
tell you how
well,
much that means. It means everything, in fact.
Yeah, well, I mean, as I've told you before, and everyone who in the chat, if there's anyone left, there's 3 people apparently. Anyone isn't aware. Yeah, Matters, who is the person in the chat. I'm just gonna, yeah. I have the old autism. I have the old ADHD. That's me saying hi. And it personally, Vector's videos are wonderful. I can throw them on the background and focus on things. It helps me do the old emotional regulation that psychotherapists apparently somewhere out there will tell me to do. Yeah. Dead Vex channel is...
That's false. That is false. Duel. They're not mutually exclusive. I can do both. That's good enough. I'll take an A.
I think an A is a respectable rank, to be fair. You're playing on Son of Sparta. I'm pretty sure I went through DMC5 and got nothing but, like, B's and C's. I was just trying to get to super characters. Like, I have my fun on Devil Hunter, and then I just grind out for super characters, and then I have the real fun.
Duel said he'll write a book, but I'll never read one. That's also not true. I've been trying to make my way through Dune. Dune's just not very good. And the reason why is because I already know everything that's going to happen. I've read up on so much Dune that the book is just like, well, oh, this is the part where... anyway, best book of all time is The Martian by Andy Weir.
I would genuinely take your recommendation there into consideration. It's The Martian by Andy Weir.
I love that book. The movie is okay. I haven't seen the extended edition.
Oh, the one with Mark Wahlberg. And you see, now I'm immediately turned off because it involves Mark Wahlberg.
No, Matt Damon. Matt Damon, who's good. Mark Wahlberg is bad. But
those 2 people are literally the same. No, they're not really.
Yeah, no, I used to get them confused all the time.
Matt Damon crushed his role as Carroll Shelby in Ford versus Ferrari.
Oh, really?
That's a good film. I mean, I'd imagine Velocity, I assume Velocity's not in the chat at the minute, but Velocity, I'm sure if you said Ford versus Ferrari or Le Mans 66 of them, they'd probably gush.
Yeah, for sure.
But that film won an award for the best sound design that year for a fucking reason.
Huh, okay. I tried to get Vec to play a tabletop RPG or a board game, and he doesn't want to. He's super selective. That's not true. Why are you lying?
Vector. I'm going to say this in front of dual revolvers on your stream. Would you be a guest character in my Vampire Chronicle? No, is an acceptable answer.
At some point, possibly. We'll see what happens. As a creator, it's difficult to find time to make guest appearances, but I will definitely try.
If it makes you feel any better, half of our players live. So while I'm obviously a UKasian, UK person, I'm not actually Asian. Anyway, most people that play the game that I play are from the UK. 2 of them are from. One's from Texas, one's from like Minneapolis, I think it is.
Oh, no way.
And so coordinating that over a time scale on a Sunday is an interesting one. We're starting at 5 p.m. GMT tomorrow, but I mean, don't get me wrong, I'd love to have you just play like a super specific plot advancing character at some point, if you were to give me the opportunity to do something with your acting capability.
The first time I played tabletop, it was actually with Phoenix. Phoenix was the GM. We were in Japan. We were playing. I think we were playing 4th edition. I think.
Ooh.
Not really
God.
sure. It was 4th edition at the time. 5th edition hadn't come out yet, from what I understand. 4.5. Sorry, it was 4.5.
Damn it. Ugh.
Yeah.
Fourth edition.
It was not a. It was fine. It was okay. It was just okay. I will say. I mean, I had a fantastic time, honestly, but that was the first time I played, and I was like, I need more of this. And so then I started listening to this podcast called Androids and Aliens, and it's just this group of actors, and they play Starfinder. And so then I told Duel, like, hey, I'm listening to this podcast called Starfinder. I mean, it's called Androids and Aliens. You got to check it out.
I've heard of that one. Yes, I think I've seen an episode of that one before, actually.
Yeah. So he watches the show. He gets way more into it than I did. And so then he gets the rule books, and he's like, okay, we're gonna do an adventure path for Starfinder. So with him GMing, because he's he got the books and all that stuff. And what happened was no slight against Duel, because he was figuring stuff out at the time. It was just a disaster. It was a major disaster. And we learned. Well, no, stop it, Duel. You're bearing false witness. I'm telling the story, and I remember what happened. What happened was he got a bunch of his friends because he couldn't find people who wanted to play, so he had to bribe his friends in his friends group, literally bribe them somehow, and say, please play this game with me. And they didn't want to play. That's the thing that you got to understand. It's important to have a group of people that actually want to be there. One of the people literally did not want to be there. They were just like, I don't even like sci-fi. I prefer fantasy. If there's even a whiff of a computer, then I'm just turned off. So he didn't want to.
Those people are cowards. Carry on.
I hate it too. And I asked him, but he reads a lot, and I asked him to read Aetherbane and give feedback, but he hasn't done it. I guess maybe because it's terrible. So take that for what you will. But anyway,
I haven't read Aetherbane and I can't comment, but like.
Well, Duel says it's in his. Duel, you told me it was in your top 5 best favorite things that you've read in your life, and I don't know if I trust you anymore. But anyway, so yeah, we had one person who just did not want to play. The other person we were with did want to play. The problem is they can't exist socially without being shit-faced drunk. And they're also just like a really obnoxious person who just, they're chaotic evil is what it is. So they just want to ruin shit for everybody. So while everybody else is trying to play the game, this dude is like, hey, I'm going to order PF Chang's. I'm going to spend $95 on PF Chang's for 2 people.
Would you take a moment to explain what that is to me? Because I've never heard of PF Chang. It
PF
sounds
Chang's,
racist, but
PF Chang's is a chain Chinese restaurant type franchise.
right?
It's
Okay.
Asian fusion, primarily Chinese, but I guess
Right.
I don't know. It's PF Chang's. So he's like, I'm gonna order
He's
takeout.
Drinking or high, he's distracted. Okay, so what you're saying is this person that didn't want to play also has ADHD.
Severely.
I mean, I do too, but I'm not a wanker about it.
Right. So this guy is a wanker about it. That's the thing. So
Can you just say wanker again for me, please?
he's a wanker about it.
Thank you.
Okay. And so he was ruining everybody was reluctant to play with this guy because, even when you can get him to focus on a task, nobody was working together. So I had to try and single player it because no one was working towards a common goal or making decisions. The guy who didn't want to play, who literally had to be bribed to play, he was actively trying to get us killed because he wanted the campaign to end as soon as possible. So he was making all the decisions, just attacking everyone. Attacking everyone, like at the first sign of conflict, I pull out my axe and I chop them in the face. Roll for a name. So there was no diplomacy checks, no stealth checks, nothing. Just combat.
That
So
is something else I will stipulate for Aetherbane real quick. Do not have an initiative system in Aetherbane because initiative is
no,
one
yeah,
of the worst systems
I've
devised
done away
to
I've done
man.
away with initiative because it's squad based, so it's more about moving with your
Oh.
squad.
So like XCOM, like XCOM.
Exactly like XCOM.
Oh my god, I love you.
We were just talking about that. Duel, we were just talking about. See, we were just talking about. I told Duel to play XCOM because I said XCOM is pixel for pixel exactly how an Aetherbane game would play.
Vec, I will literally spend more money on your services to ensure that this shit goes ahead because I am playing Cross, the character I was speaking about earlier.
Yeah.
The campaign that he exists in uses a combat system similar to XCOM, whereby we as a squad will decide how we want to attack things, and
Yeah.
then it'll be the enemy. It'll be a series of contested roles, and then after 3 rounds of combat, because that's usually how long it takes for combat to stop feeling good when you've got like 6 or so players.
Yeah.
Is we say, okay, who's taken a greater loss, and then we literally weigh up the amount of damage dealt to either side. Whoever's taken more damage then has to make a retreat roll.
Okay, you're getting into the minutia and the errata, and that's I'm not at that point yet, but eventually.
No, I appreciate that, yeah. But basically, then how we do it from there is we make a retreat roll, and say if the enemy then retreats and the players are winning, we then just get to have a moment where we like self-fellatio our egos and just gratify ourselves on leaping upon the enemies and dismantling them piece by piece. Because the Chronicle of Nightbreaker is set in 2101, so cyborgs and plasma guns and shit are a thing. I'm playing a vampire that is staunchly anti-technology, but because he devoured the soul of another vampire, he became incredibly powerful, and his fists are so strong they can punch holes in about anything. It's a power called Fist of Cain. Hold on the story. Point is, there was a bit where the enemies were retreating, and Cross literally he has a power called Soaring Leap, where he activates the muscles in his legs and he launches himself in a dramatic way. I soaring leapt after a person, and as they were running away, I used my Fist of Cain powers to turn that person. I literally like jumped through them. So when I landed, it was just like a shower of red confetti.
Okay.
And so that sort of thing, one, is anime as hell. 2, it is a really simple thing you can do. It's a simple concession that you can make as a storyteller that one of your players jumps through and turns an enemy into red mist. It makes your players feel powerful. It makes them feel really good, which in truth is what you want to achieve as a titty RPG. Is you want to make your players feel like powerful, but like the world is more powerful than them. You want to make them feel like their decisions have an impact.
Right.
You want to feel like their microcosm of emotional development and their personal relations with the other players, if they choose to have them, mean something. My understanding, that's how you make an RPG good.
Well,
after hundreds of hours, that's how you do it.
I can tell you that eventually, when it gets to the point where Aetherbane gets turned into a game, essentially, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I'm just gonna do a reskin of XCOM. That's literally how I'm gonna do it.
Perfect. Literally, XCOM with charisma stats as well.
Yeah, there's gonna be
have charisma-based characters that serve as like a captain of the team.
Right.
When the team has to make, say, like in my game, a retreat roll, they have an advantage on making that retreat roll, so they're less likely to retreat. Make it so there's a social combat element involved.
It's going to be slightly different, but that's generally how it's going to be. But let's see. We played my own campaign, Starfinder, and M&M. What's M&M?
M&M is Martians and something. Shit. Fucking Joel mentioned it a minute ago. Mutants and Masterminds. Sorry, not Martians. Mutants and Masterminds.
Oh, okay.
Can I just take a moment? I'm gonna go for a quick piss, and then I'll be back.
Very well. Mutants and Masterminds.
Just a moment.
Okay. Gotcha.
Mutants and Masterminds. Yeah, you know, another game I can only recommend super highly is Mothership, because it takes the idea of the original Alien, and it just makes it into a TTRPG. A titty RPG, if
Titty-
you will, and you can get it for
titty
free.
rip.
You can get it for free on Drive-Thru RPG. You just go on there, you say, it's a pay what you want, so you just say, well, I don't want to fucking pay you a thing. And you get it, and you can... A friend of mine messaged the developers of Mothership and said, hey, how does a particular mechanic work? And they were like, shit, that's a really good point, we should probably amend that. Do you want a free book for suggesting a good suggestion? And he was like, yeah, sure. And so he got a free physical copy of the Mothership version that he helped update.
Okay.
So I personally think it's really cool. But anyways, yeah, piss break.
Okay. Yeah, you don't want the kidneys to explode. Yeah.
My
After
kidneys
seeing,
are precious.
I'm gonna talk to Duel about games and stuff.
Please do. Back in a moment.
After seeing that video of that guy, which was a fantastic review, I'm gonna look at some more games on that channel. But it just didn't seem it wasn't the XCOM experience that I wanted to emulate. So while it does seem like a cool game that I wouldn't mind playing at some point, it's not the type of research that I need to be doing right now, if that makes sense. So what the reason why I wanted to play Clue, firstly because it's a popular game that I've never played before because I was completely turned off from board games for so long. Where do I need to go? And also, like Aetherbane being a detective story or about detectives, even though technically they're not detectives, it's still, like to add some mystery. I thought it would be interesting to look at, the gamification of a murder mystery. And so that's why I wanted to play Clue. So, which should be pretty quick, right? Just, a couple rounds. And then, we could talk about some other stuff and like the things that I'm trying to accomplish in general with the project. But yeah, XCOM. Take the gameplay of XCOM and mix it with a murder mystery. And that's, I'm wondering. I don't know if it's possible, but I'm wondering if I would like to combine those elements. So what I need is an understanding of the gamification of the murder mystery so that I can add squad-based tactical ranged combat to that. And that goes back to the video game. The video game. So essentially, the titty rip, titty ripper, the titty ripper,
Titty rip.
the tactical tabletop RPG is just going to be a pen and paper version of XCOM, the video game, which I will eventually translate into a video game, which won't be that hard. When you prototype a game, people do it all the time. You start with your tabletop role system. Tabletop rule system, and then you just translate that into code. It's what they did with Knights of the Old Republic and what's that one game that we like? Divinity 2. Fantastic game.
Hold on, do we like Divinity 2? Is that the Discord server line?
It's not the Discord server line, but me and Duel like that game a lot.
I tried Divinity 2 with a friend of mine, and I don't know if we were just playing it wrong, but we found it like really, really unenjoyable. I just found like the combat consistently was really fucking difficult. Even on the easy difficulty. This is before me and this friend of mine had invested probably into tabletop RPGs. We found the combat really, really difficult. It was actually ridiculous.
Oh yeah, you gotta turn the difficulty way down.
Okay, so like playing it on story mode, whatever it is, the super easy mode.
It's not even super easy. Play it on story mode, and that's like normal difficulty.
Yeah, I felt like the original Sin 2. That's what we were playing because one was like Ifan and all that, and the Red King of the Lizard guy. I found that game to be incredibly hard personally.
It's a very difficult game.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm not wrong in saying that, right? Because like when you're trying to leave the island with the prison on it, and the worm just appears out of nowhere, it's there like, what the fuck, man? I can't kill this thing.
Yeah,
You
well,
know,
you're not supposed to, but yeah,
Yeah, I know
don't be
that,
ashamed to
but-
lower the difficulty of that game. It's a fantastic game. It's one of
Yeah.
the best RPGs I've ever played personally. But
Yeah. If I may level a critique at it of the small amount that I've played, did I play the GIF I want? No, so Dual Revolver, I played it on originally I played it on Xbox One, and so no mods were available. I was playing it through Xbox Live in an Xbox Live party with a friend of mine.
yeah,
We were
never
both on
played
Xbox
mods.
One at the time. Yeah, but we were playing it on one above story mode difficulty, and we weren't min-maxing our characters. And fuck me, did we struggle. We got through the end of the prison island, and we were like, so we finished the game about, right? Because it was literally like, it took us 40-something hours to finish like the prison island bit at the start. And we were like, that's most of the game, right? And then we got to the end of it, and it had the whole bit where it's like, depending on the race you pick, that's your gods. And honestly, when they did that whole thing where it's like, the race you selected is your god, I put the game down and uninstalled it because that is my least favorite TTRPG trope ever.
Okay.
Like anyone that ever does the whole thing where it's like, okay, the humans have a god, and the orcs have a god, and the lizard folk have a god, and the elves have a god. What they're telling me is that their gods are based on TTRPG, races, as opposed to ideas and ideals. Because
Okay.
as much as I rag on D&D 5e, as a cleric, your domains are all centered around an ideal, be it life, death, things like that. And then they'll
That's a good
take a
point.
concept such as life and death, and they'll say, and there's it in the back where they have their compendium of potential gods. It literally says, this god is appropriate for the life domain, or this god is appropriate for the god of the death domain and the blood domain. And unless you take that time to say, hey, this is what this god is actually fucking about, you shouldn't have gods in your setting. Because the human god, if I remember rightly in Divinity 2 Original Sin, was there like, we must be at war with all other kinds of people, and we will destroy everyone and establish humanity as the true pinnacle of humanoid kind.
Well, I'm
It's
not
like,
gonna
that's not
I'm
the
not
kind
gonna
of-
spoil anything, but there is a twist towards the end that
I mean, please spoil it, because I'm not going to fucking play it, I'll be honest with you. It's left such a sour taste in my mouth.
the
If everyone in
gods
the
in
audience is okay
Divinity
with me
2,
spoiling it.
the gods in Divinity 2, they're not actually gods. First off, and they're not at all goods. Good
Yeah,
at
yeah.
all.
That was obvious to us on our first playthrough, was that these guys aren't good. I didn't realize they weren't gods, but again, that's a classic TTRPG trope.
Well,
I
you
mean,
can interpret it as being like it's a bad trope, but the gods aren't good. So it's kind of a commentary on bad tabletop RPG tropes, because the entire quest is about refuting the idea of gods in the first place.
Vec or Jewel here, either of you. You probably know it better than I do. There was a game that had the whole thing where it said, or something that said, gods are only the most powerful immortal of a certain kind at the moment.
No, I
I
haven't
can't
heard
remember
that before, but I like that.
Yeah, it's like, oh god, it was, I want to say it was like, I saw an excerpt of Dragon Ball or something like that, and it was like, well, a god isn't a god, it is simply the most powerful version of that being at the current time that can establish itself as such. And that is probably my favourite interpretation of what gods technically are, because like, if we have a human god take the Abrahamic Yahweh or anything like that, well, not to say that Yahweh wasn't just a human with supernatural powers that has supernatural powers like no one else did, and could therefore convince people that they were a god.
Sure.
They was being above to be worshipped. And I think, like, religion aside, if we're telling a story, that's a fun sort of thing to have, because one, that levels this supposed godlike being in a level whereby in a titty RPG, the players can deal with it. Also, it makes so the person running the TTRPG can
have an effective and in-game balanceable stat block for this god so that the players can have a fight with it. Because a lot of players in TTRPGs go down the route of like Final Fantasy, where it's like, for the power of friendship, I'm gonna punch God in the face. You know, and you have to be able to facilitate that, because for a TTRPG to be fun, the players and the person running it, the game master, let's say, have to be having fun.
Speaking of having fun, let's talk about more the after action report on what went wrong in that Starfinder campaign that you tried to run, Duel. So what happened was what really was just like, okay, I'm not gonna waste my time, because I had to drive like a pretty significant chunk of time out of my way to get there to the session. For one, we hadn't figured out how to do things remotely at that point. This was way before the pandemic or anything like that. So the guy who didn't want to be there because he didn't like sci-fi and had to be bribed to play, Duel said, like, okay, your character, what if I give you a special battle axe? And the guy was like, okay, cool. Then I'll play. So, but he didn't disclose this to anybody else. So I found out later that Duel had given this guy a special item to convince him to play. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool, it's that kind of game. Awesome. All right, well, I'm gonna, as flavor for my character, I'm gonna have a wrist-mounted tech bow that can unfold as part of my that's part of my equipment. It does the same damage as the weapon that I already bought. You know, like I'll take the let's just say I already spent the money, but I just want to, for flavor, I want a tech bow, a collapsible tech bow that is mounted to my wrist. Duel was like, nope,
Sure, yeah.
nope, no. Oh, I'm getting to that point. I'm getting to that point. Don't worry.
I'm taking a moment here. Just telling a player no like that when they're only asking for flavor. I'm sorry, that's not how you handle it.
Well, that's what we learned, right? So we didn't know.
The only thing that could mechanically affect would be a stealth roll. Let's say that you were trying to make a stealth roll, and the player's weapon jangling on their belt was the simple margin by which they could be detected. Oh, but it's a wrist-mounted crossbow. I can't be found for that because it doesn't jangle about because it's mounted onto my wrist. Mechanically speaking, it's the only thing it could affect, and so, like, Jewel, I'm sure you run an excellent game. I'd love to play a game with yours someday if it's ever possible, but coward.
Okay, so
that's the rum talking. I love you. Carry on.
So once he shut that down, and it was like, no, this guy is gonna get a special flavor axe because otherwise he's not gonna play. And I was like, well, how do you? In my head, I didn't know how to articulate it, but I was thinking like, well, how do you think that is gonna work for everybody else in the game? So we get to the first point of the campaign where we have to go and we're on like a derelict spaceship, and we're in space, and I had come down with a bad bout of food poisoning that I was just somewhat getting over, but I still wasn't 100%. So I had like kind of a bad headache, and nothing was going my way because everything that I tried to do, Duel was shutting it down. Like, nope, can't do that. Not in the rules. No, if it's not in the rules, not gonna happen. I'm gonna make all these concessions for this guy because I have to bribe him to get him to play, but for you, no concessions, nothing. So we finished some combat with these like bug type creatures or whatever, and they dropped this crystal that's worth like 2,000 credits, which is a lot of money. Nobody else, again, nobody wanted to play. So after combat was over, I was the only one who was like, I searched the bodies. What do I find? Do I find anything on the bodies?
Roll an investigation check. Yeah, right. Go on.
No, but it was just like, oh yeah, you find these crystals that are worth 2,000 credits each. So I take as many as I can carry, and they were like, as many as I could fit in my my inventory at the time. And I said, okay, I take the crystals, and
wearing a duster, weren't you?
No.
The character was wearing a duster.
Nope, I wasn't. I just, I take as many as because they're pretty heavy, the crystals.
Yeah.
I was like, I take two of them or whatever, and I dive out the airlock. And I went home. And I was like, deal with that. No, Starfinder is not very rule strict. That's false. You're the game's master. Your job is to make the game enjoyable, not just for you, but for the party. So
I will argue Dura Revolver's case here. Actually, some games do stipulate a following of the rules over it, because obviously, game balance when the game is have fun with your friends, it's so much harder to manage as opposed to any other kind of game. Like, say if you're playing Monopoly, there's a rule book you can follow.
Sure.
With tabletop RPGs, it does get a lot more difficult to balance it in such a way where it's fun for the people playing it, but it also kind of follows the rules and can still be clearly identified as such a TTRPG, sorry. And so, Mothership, again, is why I love it, because Mothership literally says, in the actual book itself, if you have the physical copy, it says, hey, what's that? You don't like a particular rule? Literally tear the page out of your book, send us a photo of you setting it on fire, and we will take that into future consideration. Because that's the kind of indie studio they are, and that I do love the Mothership team. You know what I hate? I hate the fact that Critical Role took 4 days to announce the fact that the stream they did was of Mothership, because they did a game with Mothership. It got wildly popular, hundreds of thousands of views, as Critical Role does, but it took them days to announce that it was actually a Mothership game, and so it seriously hurt the game's credibility because they took so long to announce it. It really bothers me. Point being, Mothership is great, and you know what? For alien plagiarists, they are my favorite.
Well, we didn't care about the rules because the reason why we were playing this campaign in the first place was because the story was so good. So as a games master, your job isn't to strictly adhere to the rules, it's to facilitate the best possible storytelling. So if you have a character who, you know, like part of their character, they want to have a tech bow and it's not going to change any mechanics, there's no negatives to saying, okay, fine, you have a tech bow.
Yeah, fully agree. I mean, I haven't run D&D for my current group of players in a hot minute, but I have 2 separate groups of players. One of them I haven't run for a long time, but one of their characters was Gorham. They were a Warforged in D&D. And they said, hey, can I just be a fucking robot because I don't have to think about making my character a personality? And it's like, yeah, you want to sit there and go, like, fucking go for it, bro. I don't care. You know, I'm here for that. Because everyone else is like, hey, I'm Langston, I'm the cool gunslinger guy. And it was such a weird mishmash of a party that, you know, an important lesson with RPGs is to just let shit go. Don't be so reflective of your rule set, because ultimately the players, they're just going to make it into what they want it to be.
True. So, Duel, I didn't hear what happened after that. Did you guys keep playing? How did you adapt to me screwing up the economy? Okay, so yeah, alright, you guys just stopped playing. Yeah, that was my way of saying, like, okay, either you learn to change the rules, or the game isn't balanced anymore because I've just taken pieces off the board. That was the only way I could protest what was essentially a totalitarian regime. I'm dead.
It's like your Discord server. You're meant to join this boss fight, it's fine. It's like your Discord server.
No, not this boss fight.
No, is it not? You meant to win in speech marks. You meant to win this one, aren't you?
You gotta win this one, yeah.
Hey, it's like your Discord server, Vic. You know, it's a totalitarian regime where you're trying to destroy gaming. It's fine.
Yeah, right. I'm trying to eliminate all gaming. The entire institution of playing games.
I hope Loveless is in this chat right now. Loveless, I do still want to see your videos. Your opinion's fucking dumb. Carry on.
That's what I thought was funny, is that they criticized someone else for making a video. No, it was Loose, who was saying, like, oh, this video is bad, but when you actually see the content that they create, it's got to be jealousy. Or just, yeah, I do it all the time. I'll be the first to admit I can be a hater. Like, sometimes when I see someone who's doing better than me, I'm like, oh, they don't deserve it. I've done that before. And so that's how I was able to recognize that. What's the point of playing a TTRPG if you're gonna constantly changing the rules?
Exactly right. It's what you do.
What
Like
okay, do I have to explain that? I shouldn't have to explain that, but I will explain it because again, your job.
Nah.
They're not necessarily rules. They're written in the rule book as guidelines. It's like the Bible.
Yeah.
The Bible
Yeah.
is. It's not meant. You're not meant to follow it to the letter. You're supposed to use it as a guidebook, and you change it according to what's gonna work. According to the story, where the story is going to go. And that's what's beautiful about tabletop RPGs is that it's not like a book where you're stuck, or a movie where you're stuck in this story and it's going to go the same way. It's going to branch out, and you might have an adventure planned, but what's inevitably going to happen is that some player at some point is going to make some discovery, and the rest of the party is going to want to follow that lead, and you have to adapt. And I got to use another gold orb.
TTRPG type. Absolutely not. I agree with you. Dual revolvers. Play by the fucking rules before you change them.
Sure.
I would disagree
and
with
that's
that.
fine.
Play a TTRPG like D&D 5e for my case, for example. Learn that the rules do not work hard and fast at the time, and if you play by them, it's going to be a boring game. And assume for every RPG from whenceforth that you have to change them to some degree, because cannot continue with flat TTRPG. No matter how much work the developers put in to make the rules as perfect as possible, they're going to displease someone because of the nature of the medium. It's not like it's exactly like VTM. Eddie, how you doing, buddy? I love you, man. How you? Sorry, Beck. I've just posted the Twitch link in all of my group chats. This is my friend Ed. Ed's great. VTM V5 forever. Ed gets it.
Androids and Aliens does have a rules lawyer, and the series got worse because of it. Because now they have eight different people talking over each other, and it's like, does the game really change that much if once combat's over? If the party's gonna win combat anyway, right? Because Troy's just trying to kill off PCs. That's all he's trying to do is kill PCs. And nobody in the audience, mind you, nobody in the audience wants to see PCs die. Because that storyline ends. And then they have to create a new character and get attached to some new boring ass person. Like, what the fuck is Qualo? Why does Qualo exist? A three-eyed slug man with 18 legs.
Three eyes are cool. I have Salubri in Vampire the Masquerade that would fist fight you to disagree with that. But yeah, as Trans Boy Eddie there says, you have to. The central characters that you start a campaign or a chronicle or a TTRPG with are ultimately going to be the binding force behind it. Unless you pull a Critical Role campaign 2 whereby one of the PCs dies early enough into the overall run of the campaign that the secondary character can pick up the slack and become emotionally invested and emotionally important to the story, they are not going to hold up to the original cast for the simple factor that they are not the original cast.
Right,
and
like you build chemistry with, or the series had, the characters all had chemistry, all the stories were interconnected. I still want to know what happened to Mei Shun, but that's never going to happen because now we have stupid-ass Qualo. And we got the rules lawyer to make sure that PCs die, and it's not fun, okay? Nobody's having fun with Qualo.
I'm a bit of a rules lawyer for Vampire the Masquerade, I won't lie, but simply because I think that as far as TTRPGs go, that the combat mechanics of it make so much goddamn sense, in the sense of, hey, I've invested years of my life in becoming strong and becoming really good at punching people. Therefore, I'm better at being strong and punching people than you are. So I have more dice to roll in that. Therefore, I have a higher chance of success. That makes so much sense to me. I appreciate that mechanic. Going forward with that, as far as it goes,
rules,
I wouldn't dare.
Here's the bottom line. The rules are there as a guideline. They're not meant to be adhered to as like You know, if, for example, if you really wanted to adhere to the rules like to the letter, then once you found out that you messed up a rule, which is always going to happen, then you would go back to that session and you would restart the campaign or redo the campaign, like you would reload a save and redo it with the actual rule that you messed up the first time, right? But nobody does that. But doesn't that mean that you're not playing the game properly because you technically broke the rules because this incorporeal creature is immune to critical attacks? But you did a double roll, so that's cheating, isn't it? But no, you're gonna continue playing the game because it's not about the rules, the numbers, and the minutia. It's about the characters. Yeah. That's why the mechanics of RPGs in general are generally terrible. Like if there wasn't a story, if there was no story and you weren't attached to the characters, you wouldn't play it. You wouldn't play Final Fantasy or Divinity, but you like the world. You like the world building and the characters that live in that world and the conflicts that they have. You don't care about what numbers they have attached to their character sheet.
Exactly. Yeah, to follow on from both what Dual Revolvers and my man Eddie is saying, just do better next time. Follow the rules at the expense of the players, cheat the story. Exactly. It's about the story and the settings. I have a game set in the city of GTA 5 because I'm a country bumpkin. There's no cities. We're telling a story. One of our players went into what's known as a vampiric frenzy where they lose control of themselves and they ended up murking some innocent civilians. I should have mechanically delivered it differently. I should have said to them, hey, you're about to murk what you actually realize is an innocent civilian, but the way I was framing it to them was, you see these people as guards, they're in your way, you should kill them. And effectively encourage them as the person running the game to kill these random NPCs that were actually just innocent human beings. After the event had happened of this vampiric frenzy, it turns out, they were actually a couple that had recently become engaged and they were taking a selfie outside their motel on their honeymoon. Just to make you feel really bad about it, because you've just killed half of a recently engaged couple.
Oh no!
And that was what I was pulling for emotional weight, and you know what? It worked, but I did it mechanically wrong. I did not follow triple S rankings. My guy Vector. I did it mechanically wrong. I should have made it in such a way whereby I say to players, "Hey, you're about to kill 2 people that have recently become engaged." Then a point of an action economy that you have fucking plenty of to negate this thing that will advance your character both emotionally and the plot. And I think that's really stupid, personally. I think the plot should take precedence over the rules. Whilst the rules are really important to make sure the game stays characterized as the kind of game you're playing, you have to prioritize the story. The rules should literally take such a backseat to a story that you're trying to tell that if needs be, the story becomes unrecognizable to the game you're originally playing to make sure that story is impactful and good. However, it is foolish to ignore the fact that following the rules can be used as a very effective storytelling device because the rules are something that the players can familiarize themselves with and then carry forward into emotional attachment.
Well said. Yeah, doesn't get any more elegant than that.
That I'm elegant, 5 double runs deep is incredible.
Sometimes that's when people are at their most elegant. The point is, like, if you do want to strictly adhere to the rules, well, you can't because it's impossible to know everything, right? At some point, you're going to make a mistake. So what you have to be able to do is just roll with it. And unless you're going to go back to that session and replay the game from that point with the correct rules, like, what are you really accomplishing by saying, like, oh, well, that's you took a +2 on that attack, but you were flat-footed, so you don't get the bonus. You shouldn't have had the bonus, but you took the bonus, and it's like, either way, what was the end result? The end result was that the party got through combat, and then the only thing that you accomplished was force them to waste their time and take a 10-minute rest so that they could recover and use a resolve point to recover some stamina. So literally, the only thing you accomplished was waste some time.
Exactly. You see, again, so Vampire calls the people that run their game storytellers. I am story first, teller of rules second, first and foremost, right?
Right. Yeah.
That's the way I prefer it, and as Vec, I appreciate creating Aether Bane. Do your own thing, obviously. But as someone who has played far too much TTRPGs, and it's kind of the only hobby they maintain into the modern days and nights, story has got to be the main focus. But like, absolutely,
like it makes sense to strictly adhere to the rules in the moment. Right? Like wait,
Yeah.
does that do double damage? Like is that a time?
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
Let's check that now.
There is a mechanic that awards a player double damage, and they have been smart enough to remember it in a moment of tension, of anxiety, of adrenaline, where their character they've spent hours creating with the storyteller has potentially has the potential to deal double damage to an incredibly threatening enemy. Yeah. You reward their rules observance. But if it's one of those moments where it's like, hey, I want you to feel like a fucking anime hero having that moment at the end of a season where they go like Super Saiyan but not quite, you should allow that. And that's how you have fun with it. Like TTRPGs, their sole focus should be fun. And that's what I'm trying to achieve, and if any of my players are in chat, I hope you're achieving that with me. But yeah.
I mean, yeah, like I said, or what I was saying a minute ago. It's that like it's cool to be a rules lawyer, and I think I'm gonna start using that. Is that the new replacement for Nazi? Instead of being a rule Nazi, you're a rule lawyer. I like that.
Yes, yeah. Rules lawyer is the term that's the most commonly used because it's like sometimes it feels like you are a lawyer, whereby you take the book and you read through it to an extent where you know the rules off by bloody heart. And you can say, well, actually, this functions in this way. And I won't lie, I've done that. I've been playing a game whereby I have actively disempowered my fellow players by saying, actually, you probably shouldn't do that much damage on the grounds of this is how the power works. But I've allowed the same rules to be leveled against me. That worked in combat because the goal that we were trying to create was tension, whereby the players, were not powerful enough to deal with the force they were facing outright. You know, I suppose anyway to frame it is like, you know, you're a kid in school and you're being bullied, right? You can't just fist fight the bully outright.
Yeah.
But with the right rules in place, you can fist fight the fellow nerds. You can take them one at a time. It's the only way I can phrase it. Thank you, Bully Scholarship Edition, for giving this to me. So the same thing functions in a TTRPG. A player should not be able to stride on into a situation and say, "Hey, motherfucker, you're the final boss. I'm going to slap you across the face and do so with impunity because I'm the player character." They should be punished for their actions. However, if a player does take the action of slapping the final boss, they should fucking feel it. You know? Again, in the game I'm running of Vampire V5, like, we recently, so the whole opposition is the players are playing the good guys and the bad guys are the bad guys. The players are the side that's trying to change vampiric society and the mortal society. The bad guys are the secret Illuminati trying to run the world. You know, that's a really simple dichotomy. They got invited to the house of the leader of the Illuminati and they got to speak to them. If one of my players had in the moment decided, I want to try and fist fight the leader of the Illuminati, they would have been spanked like they were my fucking stepchild. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But if they, well, as they did, they said played to this character's wishes and they got out of there alive, they have been rewarded with the unique position of, hey, you now know this character, you have a direct line of communication with them, you know how to speak to them. And again, following through with Aether Bane, I think that's something that you should personally, as a person again who plays TTRPGs literally every day of the week, pretty much, should focus on is working out how to reward characters and players following with the general consensus of the game you're trying to run. Because actually, it's really, really good when the players play along with the big bad guy. To take it back to my vampire game that I'm running, the main bad guy. Sorry, I'm suffering from wrong. The main bad guy is the Prince of the Camarilla, Italian secret meeting, for those who don't know. And he is called Prince Tiamat, and he is terribly English, and he speaks with this vindictive accent of, yes, actually, you son of a bitch, I'm better than you, you are a pauper. And he speaks like that at the players, right? But because the players were smart enough to, you know, kiss the ring, abide by the rules in his house, they didn't die. As a reward for that, they have been given the access of, if they ever need to speak to the head of the bad guys, they can. So, actually, hey, Triple S ranking, my guy Vector. Rewarding compliance in a TTRPG can also be really good, because not only does it serve the story, it also serves to make the bad guys feel stronger, it serves to make the player characters feel more agent of themselves, it also serves to create an agency sense whereby they know that their character is limited by the fact, or by the reality of their socio-economic political standing. And especially if you want to run a Metal Gear Solid style game whereby your characters are dependent on what the Fox squad was capable of, or Fox adjacent squad was capable of, just being able to say, oh, well, my character's the boss, and they're able to do anything because they have a snake tattoo because they had a battlefield abortion. That's not fun. To be able to say, I gave birth on the battlefield, I had, that my child's first moments were spent with me cradling them like nothing else existed while bullets whizzed past me, and I managed to keep them safe, and now they have been, irrefutably changed by that fact. That makes for a good character. Because they have the trauma that the storyteller can play into in a really obvious way. They have familial connections, again, storyteller can play into in a really obvious way, and they have a direct link to the plot by being a historical character. If that makes sense.
This guy just refuses to die. I was halfway listening to most of that, but because it's like, yeah, you're not stating the obvious, but you're stating what I know and what a lot of people who run campaigns don't know. Even like Androids and Aliens, it's a great show, and everybody on the show is super talented, but they suck at playing games. That's just a fact. They're not good game players, which is why they die so much, and why they have a rules lawyer.
Yeah, basically, yeah, and that's why I didn't watch it the same way that I've watched Critical Role. It's because Critical Role's Dungeon Master of Dungeons and Dragons being Matt Mercer, the voice of fucking McCree in Overwatch. Sad fact of the matter is he knows what the hell he's doing, and as much as it shames me to admit that, Matt Mercer is good at his job. Yeah. Right. Hey, I'm ignoring the fact that sure, he's an attractive man. Fucking, I don't care. The point is, I'm not a liar, alright? I'm not a liar. Matt Mercer is a lovely man, and you know what? Like, as far as modern standards of masculinity is concerned, he'd be an excellent. Either way. Matt Mercer knows what the fuck he's on about. He's been running this game for literal years. That's why he's good at it.
Hey, I'm cool with that.
Yeah, so that's why he can take a game like Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition, which is arguably a rigorously rule-regimented game. You get an S rank on this one. A rank. No. You're not still good. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it.
But
I don't go for S ranks anyway.
I can't blame that. I had a friend of mine that went for S ranks on every mission and every difficulty in every Devil May Cry game. I did envy them somewhat, either way. Matt Mercer being good at running D&D comes from what actually amounts to literal decades of experience, and not everyone has access to literal decades of experience. So I think another important point is that, Aetherbane doesn't act in such a way that expects its players to have literal decades of experience. I mean, I've not heard an awful lot about it, but as far as it seems thus far, you aren't expecting people to know what the hell a D8 only system is. And so that's promising. That's really, really promising.
Oh, a what only system? Because I have no idea
A
what you're talking
D8 only
about.
system.
Oh yeah.
So obviously, eight-sided die. I mean, eight-sided die are weird to begin with. Um, quite fair in terms of dice. I will admit that, but they should absolutely not be the core of any system because D6s or D10s work because D6s are reliable enough to give you a decent result. D10s are random enough to give you a random result. D8s are weirdly sat in the middle of that. Well, you know the story. Um, basically, I
Duel
appreciate
has a good
doing.
question here. How do you start combat in a tabletop without an initiative system?
Duel, my friend. If I may take the reins on this one, Vector, if I may answer this one.
This is gonna have to be the last one. The stream is ending.
That is genuinely the worst news I've been delivered all day, and I got told that a child was given cigarette burns by their abusive parent today, so do with that what you will.
Well, I didn't need to know that. What?
Well, now you do. I'm sorry, I'm very drunk. Dual revolvers. As for initiative systems, the issue with initiative is that it forces players to act in a non-tactical way, and if your players are anything above the IQ of a literal fucking snail, they will know what tactics are. I.e., they will try and emulate XCOM to some degree, whereby it'll be like, okay, so I'll do this while this other player does this, and while we all do this thing together, we'll decimate the enemy forces. So,
Yes.
initiative rolls in Dungeons and Dragons essentially focus on the idea of okay, you've rolled a d20. The d20 result was this particular number, and this particular number means that because of your bonus at such a time, you will act when it is appropriate. So,
Right.
say you have a big tanky character that happens to roll a natural 20, the highest number you can roll, d20. They're going to act first, but you have a super slick, sneaky rogue whose speciality is positioning and setting up combat. They roll the 1. Okay, fuck you. You have to go first. That isn't fun. But instead say, okay, I'm the super sneaky rogue. I want to position myself over here. The paladin in D&D, at least. We're going to use the D&D system because it's the most well-known, well-recognized. Okay, paladin, I'm going to sit over here, draw the aggro like it's a game of fucking World of Army of Two, 40th day. Good game, that. Paladin's going to sit in the middle, Rogue's going to fuck off to the side and deal damage from the outskirts. The Paladin's going to be the central drawer of our aggression and really bring everyone round onto them. And then you're going to have all the other characters like the Wizard and the Ranger adding their status effects so that the Paladin can do their job and the Rogue can do their job. You have everyone work out. That's what Vec, I don't know how early you're into the stream, but that's what Vec was referring to. God, I'm really drunk, aren't I? As the XCOM system, whereby you all choose to go all at once. Players go before the enemies unless the players are being surprised, i.e., through a guerrilla attack, whereby the players are forced to be reactive. But if the players are being proactive and attacking someone in their own base, say for example, the players get to be proactive. They have to set the way they do things, and then what the enemies would do is they roll contested rolls against that. So to use the vampire system, say if my vampire, my Crucifixio Onitsuka, which literally means crucifix the demon bearer, I've recently found out, thank you to my Italian and Japanese speaking friends. Vector, please verify that. He will say, okay, I want to enter this room, soaring leap at one of the cyborgs in the campaign that we're fighting, the chronicle that we're fighting. I want to soaring leap at them with my movement action, and then attack them with my Fist of Cain as my action, attack action, and that will be Crucifixio Onitsuka's turn. To counter that as the reactive force, the cyborgs will then roll a Dex and Athletics roll in Vampire System to see how well they dodge that. That will set the difficulty class, i.e. DC, i.e. the number of tests I have to roll to beat. As Crucifixio Onitsuka. Incorrect. A, B, C, D, O, M, G. Dom, I love you, but you're a fucking idiot. Anyways. Vec, this is one of my friends. A, B, C, D, O, M, G. This is an important person to me. This person's great, and they're playing a cyborg in this vampire / cyborg game we're playing. So my character Cross will roll Strength plus Brawl. A dice pool of 8 out of 10 dice. It's a very, very strong pool to roll. Say I roll 4 successes. The cyborg will roll their dexterity and their athletics to get out of the way of it. And depending on who wins depends on the damage. Say if I beat them by 3 successes, I do 3 plus my damage multiplier plus my plus my Fist of Cain damage, and that tells me how much damage I do to that character. That character takes subsequent health damage. While that is arguably more complex than D&D, which is a simple D20 roll, did I beat that character's armor class? The armor class is how hard is it to hit that character. So say if a character has an armor class of 18, you have to roll above 18 to hit them. If you roll above 18 to hit them, you do your damage. Whereas in Vampire, it's based off of how well you hit them, how much better than their AC you hit them. I think it's a better system personally, as someone's been in RPGs. But that's the way it works as far as I'm concerned. Ultimately, the point is, how do you start combat in a tabletop without initiative system? You do the XCon system. Who gets the jump on who? That is the core question you are asking. Sorry for being so long-winded about it, but say that more often than not, what you want to do is you want to give the players that advantage. So, say the players are going to a safe house of the bad guys. Because it's a safe house, what you'll want to do is you'll want to give the players the advantage. So you'll give the players the first go. Okay, you've kicked down the door to this safe house. What do you want to do from here? Because it's the enemy safe house, however, they do get advantage in defending themselves. So let's say you're using a D10 only system. The players roll their D10s to see how well they fuck up the enemies. The enemies will roll their personal D10 system as counter to the players' system, a D10 system. Whoever has the most dice wins, but the enemies get, say, 2 extra dice because it's home turf. You know, think about it. If you were to have a home invasion, you're going to be better at defending your home against a home invader than someone who's never lived there before. That's just how the real world works. I personally aim to emulate that in my stories, so to give it a full story, players are trying to infiltrate an enemy base. Players roll 8 dice to see how well they do, 8 d10s. Every d10 that rolls 6, 7, 8, or 9, or 10 wins. Every d10 that's rolled 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loses. Enemies do the same thing. Enemies get 2 bonus dice. That gives you your action workout. Person who's running the game then narrates how that goes. So you say, oh, well, this character shoots these people in a really effective way, but this character personally whiffs it. Blah, blah, blah. Work it like that. And then you do a second round of combat, same system. Third round of combat, same system. And then I would recommend a retreating roll, because more often than not, in TTRPGs with more than 4 or 5 players, especially when you reach thresholds like 6 or 7 players, they reach a point where it's really fucking boring if you have a combat that lasts more than 3 turns. That's all I have to say. Sorry, Mr. Vec, for stealing your stream. Please carry on.
Can you hear me? Can we testing?
I can hear you. I'm so sorry. So the issue is you're diving into my special interest, and I have very strong opinions.
I muted myself on Twitch. Yeah, I mean, you have the knowledge and the drive. You just do a stream about tabletop or any sort of content.
I'm going to start streaming as soon as I drop out of this Discord call. Feel free to join in it if you fancy.
Yeah, I mean, you can do it, man. After hearing you talk about that, like, there's no reason why you can't take that show on the road. You can do it.
What I'm saying to you, Deadvec, I just complained. Deck, that's your new nickname.
Different
there you
guy.
are, you're welcome. As a
guy.
patron, no, I'm
Again,
sorry.
I am not Deadvec. Deadvec is an organization.
Okay, well, Mr. Vector, sir, in that case. I'm going to start a stream immediately after this. I'm going to work out how Twitch works. Anyone who fancies joining in it, feel free. I'm just going to sit here and shout about TTRPGs until the small hours of the UK morning. Thank you very much for having me. As a patron, I'm so glad to be able to speak to you in this capacity. I am aware that I've probably spent more time speaking than you, and for that, I can only apologise. But
you're fine.
It's been an
People watching, if you are not following Matters on Twitch, you can. Or find them on YouTube. Find them on the Discord server. It has been a pleasure. I have learned a ton. And I'm
I'm
sure
gonna carry
everybody,
on.
a lot of other people in chat have as well. So enjoy the rest of your evening. Sounds like you're having a good time. You got a nice beverage,
I'm.
a nice adult
Oh,
beverage there.
It's a nice beverage day.
Just take a deep breath, and you just just think happy
You have
thoughts.
a
Everything's
nice. You have a
gonna be
nice.
okay.
Yeah, have a burrito, Dirtvac. Have a burrito.
No, it's pizza day, fortunately.
Have a
So
pizza, Dirtvac. I love and appreciate your content. My patronage will continue forevermore until a point where I cannot afford it.
verily.
I firmly believe in
Oh,
it,
this
your
is
success.
most excellent. I love that accent. It's so buttery smooth.
Most excellent. Yes, I will continue to ruin. I can just follow Matt Holmes on social media. Yes, you can. ABCDOMG. I won't disclose your real name. You probably can do that.
He's just gonna follow you home.
And you know what? I would appreciate it if you did it because I get very. Wait, Dual Revolvers, you have more questions. Please shoot them my way when
Yes,
I
please
start
do.
my own stream in just a minute. I'm going to drop out of this one and start my own as soon as I work out how to.
I too am ending the
Catch you all
stream.
in a bit.
Matt, it has been a
Thank
pleasure.
you, Vic.
Here's cheers to you, and here's to many more sessions just like this. I gotta
If you-
finish this video. I gotta go right now, so I'm gonna hang up in your face, and I hope I never see. I'm just kidding. But
If
I
you ever give me the
will.
opportunity to again, I will ride it like a fucking stallion. Thank you so much, Vec. Have a lovely evening.
You too, man. Take care. And Matt has left the building. Thanks to everybody who has tuned into the stream. If you haven't followed, consider a follow. And there's going to be more discussions about tabletop RPGs and game development and storytelling and all kinds of stuff. Music production, everything that goes into making games. That's what I do. So if you are so inclined, let me know by following me. So if you have, well, thanks for that. And if you haven't, well, think about it. Just just sleep on it. Give it some thought. You can also find me on YouTube and on Discord, Twitter, all those things. I'm gonna end the stream. It is time for food, and then I got content to create. So take care, everybody.